How's everyone doing today? You guys ready to delve into the mind of someone who made a game about pee-pee and giant poop that you have to shoot with tears, as well as Meat Boy and some other really great games? But tonight we're going to be talking with Edmund McMillen. He is the lead guy. He is the guy. He made Binding of Isaac. He, made Meat Boy, the upcoming Mugenics, and the Basement Collection, all the games in there. And he's a good friend. And tonight will be the third time I speak to him, and we're going to be chatting about all kinds of salty shit. So it should be fun. It should be fun. I'm going to give Ed a call, and we'll get started. And at the end of my questions, I will be reading some of the questions from you guys that you put in the thread. Not in chat. No questions in chat. I'll just do the thread. So if you have any questions, you can ask them there. But let's have a chat with Ed. Just for visual reference, there he is. That's actually a picture of Ed.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Ed, how you been?
I've been all right.
Well, that's better than not all right. So, happy to have you here. Happy to have you join us on Vinesauce. It's been a few years.
It's been years, huh?
It's been 2 years, Ed. Crazy.
Those years went by fast.
Time dilation. How's Danielle?
She's sitting right next to me. She's eating Chinese food.
Oh, good. My favorite.
That was an innuendo, obviously. Everybody uses that, right?
Yeah.
I'm eating Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese food's the new one. I use pizza, pasta, spaghetti.
I usually say I'm going to the bathroom.
Whoa. That's what you just did a minute ago, though.
Oh, don't tell them. Now they know.
You made some lemonade. So Ed, it's been a few years, and it's thank you for agreeing to do this. The people from Vinesauce and the people that watch the streams, we're all big fans of your work, and we've been playing a lot of Isaac recently, and it's going to be great to be able to ask you some of the community questions. And here's how we're going to do it: we're going to have 10 people holding on Skype at the bottom of the screen. They're going to raise their hand, and you can just pick whoever you want. It's going to be a free-for-all. Everyone's going to jump on in. Wait, no, I'm sorry. That's the interview with Tommy.
Wait, when can I say the N-word?
Put it this way: you can't, but you can just jump in and say it anyway.
Yeah. And I'm looking to say the C word as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of C words. Those are okay because that doesn't offend anyone, I don't think.
No.
So, but you could say that anytime, Danielle. You have the right to just jump on in and, say that one.
Great.
There you go. So, all right, okay. Now, Ed, let's start simple. And I want to just say congratulations on the release of Rebirth. Everyone was super excited about it. When I kind of settle into the interview, I might actually play a little bit while I'm talking to you, which I've done a few times. But I want to kind of mention the first thing, believe it or not, is a music reference. And I'm curious, have you ever seen Pink Floyd The Wall?
That's one that I've tried to watch a few times, but never have gotten around to watching it.
I've seen it on acid.
Wow.
Danielle's seen it on acid, but we were going to watch it very recently, but didn't for some reason. But no, yeah,
terrible.
Is it?
Yes.
I heard it was.
He shaves his nipples off.
Well, that adds to the fun.
Careful, this is gonna eat your food.
It's probably actually better if you're not on acid, because then you're like, the whole time I was like, oh my god, he hates women, this is disgusting.
It is a pretty, it's not a very pretty sight at a person and into a person's psyche.
I'm out of the loop. I feel so out of the loop.
Now, I'll tell you why I bring it up, Ed. There is, at the end of the movie, there's a little fella in that, he's like a little sack boy, he's pink, and he looks like Isaac.
Really?
And really, no, he's at the end of the wall. I can't find a picture of it while I'm talking to you, but if I can find it, I'll link you to it. There's by the end of the movie, he is so regressed into his childhood state, and he is so beaten down that he takes an Isaac form. And it's kind of interesting. I actually just found a picture.
I will watch it soon.
So I was curious if that was an influence, but I just linked it to you, and you can take a look. And I think that might be something you might want to see that at some point. There's giant vaginas in that movie.
I own it. I own it, and I put the DVD in the DVD player, and we were gonna watch it, but for whatever reason we didn't. Something stopped it.
Not enough drugs, maybe.
Yeah, we didn't have enough acid.
It is super heavy.
It is. Yeah, prepare yourself, for that one. Now, so that wasn't an influence necessarily, but I want to ask you about. Let's talk about another music-related thing to Isaac's art style and feeling, which is In Utero from Nirvana. That album, Kurt kind of designed the cover of it. I know you're a fan of some of the same music I am, and the cover of it is pretty, it's like it depicts in utero. It's a womb. It's very fetal.
Yeah.
Did any of that stuff, as you were growing up, any of that stuff kind of influence you for this game, subconsciously perhaps?
It's definitely. I mean, I don't know if that album influenced me because I was drawing fetuses and baby related things for a long time when I was even younger than that, but it definitely, I'm sure, made me feel more tied to that album and probably used more imagery. I mean, there's a recurring theme of fetal things in almost everything that I've worked on, for whatever reasons, but there's something to that. And there is I guess kind of in the way that you were describing in the wall, it's that kind of ultra primitive, primordial form, where everything starts and ends. It's there's a recurring themes of death and birth in my work, and I guess it's just hard for me to avoid. They're just too loud.
And you stick with what you're good at, and you expand on that. And I have to say that's the thing about, I think, the art style and the themes of Isaac that makes it so alluring. There's a story to Isaac that you, I believe, have said you like interpretations, you like different interpretations that people may have.
Yeah.
And, I get a lot from the story and the imagery, and I feel like the more you think about it and the more you go through the game, it kind of... it reflects that birth, that death, guilt. There's a lot of guilt in Isaac about the events that happen in his life. Guilt over his mom. This is stuff that we can relate to universally, a lot of us. What made you put it in a video game? I mean, a lot of the stuff you see, you maybe hear in music or you see in art, but in a game, it's a unique thing to see.
Yeah, I think it's purely because I'm here right now. This is just where I'm at, and this is the medium that I chose to use. The more time I spend in this industry, the more I feel like a complete outsider, which is really strange because I came into this feeling like I finally found a comfortable place that made sense to me because, back when I started making games, the independent scene was literally a handful of people that all knew each other, and for the most part we all related on that level of, we're not making money off of this, so we're obviously doing this for the art. We're doing it because we can and because it's artistic, and this is how we've chosen to speak. And I don't know, the more times that's passed, the more I feel like I feel like, am I the only one? I don't know. I feel like games have definitely become so tainted by money and success and the scene, and it's just gross. And I again feel like a complete outsider because I feel like the choices that I'm making I try my best to keep them as artistic and honest and true as possible, and just stay true to what I'm doing and not worry about if I'm going to make a dime off of what I'm working on. But I don't know. I feel like an alien. I don't understand. I feel like I can't relate to anybody in the industry anymore.
It's hard.
Outsider.
No, and the AAA especially, it's like, ooh, I just queued up. I had a picture queued up that I pressed and showed the audience just as you were saying that. It's a picture of some game. I believe it's from EA, and it says, "Would you like to watch an ad for coins?" And if you click yes, you watch an ad, and it gives you coins so that you can buy shit for your character or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that it's not real. That's not even, what is this? It's just an assembly line of things put together in a game form, put it on a platform, and that's really it.
On some level, though, like I can forgive big business for money grabs because that's what they do, right? But I think for me, the major disconnect is this like self-obsession that independent game developers and the independent game industry as a whole seems to have on their there's just self-importance. It's just so inward, and it's so not artistic, and it's so not honest, and it's just so like soapboxy. I don't know. It's very weird. It just has nothing. It's getting further and further away from games and closer to this like social scene, which I thought we were all supposed to be antisocial. I thought that's why we were doing this. But I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a true fucking outcast nerd who doesn't have any friends. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe everybody else was pretending like they enjoyed not having friends, and I was the only one who reveled in the fact that I wanted to be alone. But whatever. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. It's all I have. Like, all I can do is be honest with myself, and the past couple of years has been a struggle in that. Like, just moving away from the current that's pulling me in a general direction and trying my best to stay true to what I want and what I believe in. Just be as honest as I can, because honesty is what makes art. Like, art is honest, and business is not.
Yeah.
And for the most part, social scenes are not honest.
Trying to fit into a whole kind of clique.
Yeah.
So that you can, have something to say to someone, or to go to a place and have a status. It isn't. And you weren't alone. There were times where I also did not have... I have friends, but there were times where I just enjoyed being alone. And I still do. I really do. When I stream, I love it, because I can be alone and still interact.
Yeah,
but
it's very safe. It's the super safe zone of like...
Just don't read the chat.
Just don't read the chat. Yeah, no, I mean, even growing up, it was always... I guess I just have this... I'm sure there's a phobia. There's a name for it. I don't. Is it xenophobia? I don't know. Like, I have a fear of people. Like, really. Like, people, especially in groups, just scare the shit out of me, because I know I can see the darkness there, and I can see just the animal despicableness in people, and how it all comes out when a group allows it to be prevalent and doesn't, check it. And I've always had that fear. So I was always the guy with like one confidant. Like, I have one really good friend that I confide in, and that's it. And it's us versus the world sort of situation.
It makes sense. And that's the kind of the mob mentality, the crowded mentality that makes chat rooms with tons of people in them so difficult. I mean, we've managed, with some good results and with some bad results. We're changing a lot of what we're doing soon with our chat, theories and how we're going to manage things. But yeah, I mean, you get enough people together and just the echo chamber, and it just gets louder and louder, and certain like animalistic, horrible behavior where people just don't understand how much it can hurt, how much people can hurt you,
Yeah.
And they just do it, and they just go for it and have fun with it. And that's what makes it scary. We kind of live in this world, and as I maybe, when I messaged you in private, I said that we're maybe not as grown up as a race, as a species for peaceful internet. Or not even just peaceful internet, but just like, anywhere. I mean, listen, I met Tommy at a convention at PAX. And PAX is a pretty peaceful convention. It was pretty cool. I met a lot of nice people. But it wasn't like I was always bouncing around. I didn't get too locked into one group at any one point. But I could tell that, Tommy, I don't know how social or antisocial Tommy is, but I mean, when you're in the thick of it and people are coming up to you and they're like, hey, let me get a piece of you. Let me do this. Let me do that. It's got to be a little bit intimidating, and it's got to be a little scary.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you go to conventions, Ed?
I don't. There are many other issues of why I don't. I mean, I'd go to ones that are close to home, but they're incredibly taxing. Like I don't like when he goes and does those things for days on end. One day is more than enough for me. Like a few hours is more than enough for me. But it's gotten to the point where, like right after the movie, like when the movie was previewed at GDC, that GDC was kind of like this mob. Like we couldn't go anywhere without people talking, and for me it's more of this like guilt where I feel like I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to be, it feels great when people come up and say, hey, you were an inspiration, I want to talk to you or whatever else, and you want to be able to give that person attention. But when there's so many people coming up to you and maybe you're not having the best day in the world, you just don't want to be that guy who's an asshole and that is stuck out in that person's mind as the asshole that let them down. Because I'm just a fucking person, and that's I never really wanted to be anything more than what I chose. This is the thing that breaks my brain too, and I know a lot of it has to do with the movie and the indie scene in general and how they're kind of celebritizing, developers. But there's a reason I am standing behind my work. There's a reason why I don't put my face on it. It's like I'm not there. I'm not an actor, and I'm not putting myself in the movie in that way.
Right.
I just want to speak through my work, and I'm fine with talking about my work. But for the most part, like I am not a social person, and I don't know how to act in a way that I'm even happy with.
Sure.
Like I'm not even okay with. Like I know I probably come off feeling more like an asshole than anybody else probably thinks that I am when I interact with people. Mm-hmm. I'm just not good at it. Like I'm just not good at it.
Not everyone's born for that.
It's also just not something that I really feed off of in any way. Like I wish I did, and I feel kind of like an asshole, like an ungrateful person to say that like this doesn't do it for me. Like it just doesn't. Like what am I supposed to say? Like I'm being honest. Like I'm in this to make games. I like being creative and I like creating stuff, but the whole fan thing doesn't do anything. I don't like it. And it's probably mostly because I'm so critical of myself that it's very hard, and this is going to sound really harsh, for me to have somebody come up to me and say that they really like me and like my work, and for me to not think, well, you've got horrible taste. You're an idiot because I'm not a fan of myself, and I don't think you should be. Like I'm just a regular dude who tends to make games that are popular right now.
With a big dick.
Brilliant, Danielle. That's exactly what we're hoping for. We're going to need a model of that on the shop so that we can buy it.
Oh yeah, I've got a cast going right now.
Okay. I want to ask you about that in a little bit, Dan, about some of the products. But before I do, I want to that topic is interesting to me because two quick things. First one, Kurt Cobain said he always had a problem with fame. He didn't revel in the audience, and he kind of was jealous of Freddie Mercury, who seemed to be able to just absorb all the love and attention from an audience.
Not jealous of Freddie Mercury, though. Come on. You guys...
I mean, I love Freddie.
If I was a singer, I would be constantly in envy of that voice, and yeah, okay.
The whole thing, just everything about the man.
Those teeth.
Maybe not that, but everything else. But I thought that was an interesting way to look at fame, and from other people that have had similar feelings. And I'll tell you a little personal story. Vinesauce has been growing over the past few years, pretty much since the last time I spoke to you in person or over Skype. We've grown quite a bit, and to the point where people recognize me and stuff at conventions, and it's fun. I'm a little bit more able to handle that, But people were kind of asking me to sign their 3DS, like, in permanent marker. And I was like, are you sure? Like, do you really want me to sign this thing? This is an expensive thing, and I'm just some asshole who streams on YouTube and Twitch. And they really wanted it, and I guess it made them happy to have that on there, and I was pleased that they were interested, but I also felt like, I feel kind of similar to you in some ways. Like, really? The whole fame and celebrity culture thing never really, I like to be appreciated for my work. Like, people tell me they like my music, great. People tell me they like some of my editing and some of the funny things I've done on stream, great. But if it's just like fawning over me, like I'm not really that, special. But it's a very prevalent thing in this country, in this world, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had similar situations where people have come up in the past, actually, and luckily Danielle would be with me, because it's hard for me when people, like you said, people come up and they're like, hey, it's like another developer, right? Like I won't say who this person is, but another developer comes out to me, and I like this guy's work, and he says he likes my work. And it was back when I was this was a while ago, selling my CD. It was a compilation of all my stuff, and he asked if he could buy a copy, and I said, here, you can have a copy. And he's like, can you sign it for me? And I'm like, but you know me. We're equals here. Like, we're on the same playing field. Like,
yeah.
I feel weird about signing this, Like, I'm handing it to you. Like, we're talking. We just had dinner,
Mm-hmm.
And then, and I just gave it to him, and then Danielle's like, you're an asshole. I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
I'm like, this is what he wanted. Like, he wanted this. Like, don't. And it's just because it's just so hard for me to think that anybody can see me any differently than how I view myself. And it's a frustrating thing. It's a frustrating thing in general too, especially going into this. Like, and this is something that I think I've been dealing with overall, coming down off of this roller coaster ride of the past 5 years, of Meat Boy and the movie and Isaac, and then Isaac again. It's been a clusterfuck of insanity,
Mm-hmm.
and for the most part, it's been all these really great positive things, and with every great positive thing, there's just a million little horrible things that come with it. It's like this weird net, like you pull up one end and everything just is caught in it as it goes, and you've got to deal with all that stuff.
That's right.
And I wasn't prepared for any of it, and I didn't want a lot of it. And it's been kind of me figuring that out as I go. And I feel like for the past couple of years, I've been kind of in this weird, I'd say for the past 2 years, I've been in this kind of weird headspace where I'm just trying to learn how to deal with where other people think I am and where I should be, and like where I should be approaching what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
where I should put my focus, and how I view myself, and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's hard not to feel like an ungrateful asshole when you seem to have all of these things that everybody thinks that they really want, and then not be fulfilled by those things. But and if anything, it's a learning experience. Like, I know now more than I'm certain now of what I want and what I don't want, and that's a good feeling to know what you really enjoy and the things that you don't enjoy that are the what ifs. Like, what if I had this, and what if I was this, and what if people thought of me like this? I have a lot of those questions answered, and they're empty for me. They might not be empty for other people, but they're very empty for me, and I don't need them. So I can kind of streamline my my needs and wants and just move on from there.
I envy that in some ways, and I know it comes with experience, and I'm happy to hear that you've learned from the situation, and you're still learning, as am I. And I'm full of anecdotes tonight, but I'll give you one more. I don't really like James Taylor, but he had a really interesting quote. He was talking about John Lennon's death. He's saying that there is a law of diminishing returns with fame, where you reach a certain point, great, you can sustain yourself, you have money, your ego is kept afloat if you need that, great. You can do your work, people will see your work. And then you get to more than that, and then the benefits start diminishing,
Yeah.
and you pick up like a crazy person, and then more crazy people, and then you reach Beatle fame, John Lennon fame, and you have someone stab George Harrison in the neck, you have someone shoot John Lennon, and break into home, and it's just crazy shit. And he was right. There is a law of diminishing returns. Like, you get to a certain point, you can stay there and you'd be happy there, but if you keep going, then you're starting to, the positives start to go way the fuck down. So yeah, scary that.
I can definitely see it. I mean, and it's just a really foreign experience, and I hate talking about it because I feel like it's an unrelatable thing, and I feel like all I am is a complainer. I'm complaining about success, and it's like, I don't know, like I mean, the best way to look at it is like, there was a point in time where me and Danielle were struggling to pay the rent, but everybody else in our family that we knew and stuff, we were all on this kind of equal playing field, and everybody was content with where they were. And then the moment we moved up, it suddenly made everybody else feel like they had less, and we felt obligated to help. And all that did was enable everything. And it just fucked everything up. It's like this weird counterbalance. But I mean, that's all personal stuff. But like, yeah, it's definitely a careful what you wish for situation. Yeah. But it's been a hard couple of years.
Of course. And we'll move on from this because I agree it is a little hard to relate for some people, but it also is more relatable than you think in a lot of ways. Success comes in many different forms, and sometimes you get what you don't want, but it comes with a cost at all times. There's always the negatives that come with the positives. But you don't sound ungrateful to me. You just sound like you just remind me of Kurt Cobain, and he's like one of my heroes.
Well, he's also fucking dead.
Yeah, but you have a sense of humor, and you're not on drugs.
Yeah, okay, I'm not on drugs.
Elvis never did drugs, my friends. You know what I mean?
I'm not on drugs.
Okay. All right. Anyway, this is getting like Isaac levels of morbid. Speaking of Isaac levels of morbid, I wanted to ask you about your art style.
Yeah.
Mr. McMillen. By the way, it's a good idea to get names wrong on purpose because I'm horrible with names. So when I get them wrong on purpose, they think I'm being playful, and when I get them wrong on accident, they're just like, "Oh, he's being himself." So I just always say everyone's name wrong. But I remember 2 years ago I introduced you as Edward McMilton, and people still ask, "Vinny, when's the next Edward McMilton interview?" And I'm like, "Oh, sweet Jesus."
I must have not. Did I comment on that?
You laughed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you about your art style though, because you have a fun thing that you do with grotesque faces.
Mm-hmm.
And you manage to turn these characters, which in some ways become either lovable through their faces, through their expressions, or like absolutely grotesque or horrified, etc. What is it about a face that you feel, can change an entire thing? And why do you kind of go there with faces? You do some fun stuff with them. I don't know how to word this question. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I spent a lot of time looking in the mirror and drawing my expressions. I was one of those kids, really little, like, that would just do faces in the mirror constantly. I always wanted to just do weird, fucked up faces, and I was always the kid that like got the Halloween makeup early and would get home and put it all on, and like I would always, I don't know, I just had an obsession with weird faces in the mirror. So I do think that I probably learned a few things from that really young. But when it comes to just grotesque cuteness, I think it's also one of the things that kind of throws people, because a lot of people will be like, yeah, Isaac's weird or whatever, but like it's cute too. And I hear a lot of people say like there's probably nothing to it. It's just weird for weird's sake because it looks funny. And I think a lot of people have a hard time looking at something that may be saying something that also has a sense of humor about itself. Mm-hmm. And it's easy for them to like just toss off and be like, okay, well, it's a joke. He's just being weird or gross or whatever else.
Well, there's a little more to it than that.
But I mean, it's just it's just kind of like where I'm at, who I am. I am not a one-dimensional person, and I do have a sense of humor about things. So I like to try to lighten the mood. I know it's probably not too light right now, but if Danielle made another cock comment, I'm probably.
I was gonna bring it way darker. I have a whole new perspective on the game now.
Yeah.
Mothers are evil. They will try to ruin your life. You think you're in this scary basement fighting all these things. It's your fucking mom. Get that out of there.
That's kind of what that's what I got from this. I mean, you know, the beautiful thing about Isaac is the sense of humor really shows through from all angles at all times. But yeah, underlying all that, it's a three-dimensional game. There's a lot going on, and the allegory of the basement going deeper and deeper is just deeper levels of guilt and sin and repressed feelings and emotions, and that's what I get from it, and that's what makes it so morbidly amazing. And by the time you get to the end, you know, and you have some different choices that you make, it's especially fun. I don't want to ruin the idea of the story for anyone. You guys figure it out yourself. But it's fun, and the journey is what makes it even more fun. Now, speaking of the journey, that's the gameplay. Why is this game so incredibly popular? Do you think it's the simple mechanics? Do you think it's the synergies? Do you think it's the map structure? What do you have any idea what might be so?
I mean, it's something that
appealing?
I've cracked my brain, of course, because people are like, look, a lot of people don't understand that I didn't plan this to be a popular game. Like, a lot of people think that you plan on like, oh yeah, I'm going to plan on making a really popular game that a lot of people are going to get addicted to and play. And it was never at all the idea. Like, I was just going to make something that I thought would be fun for me to play, and I was just going to kind of go from there. And
the climate was different. The indie game climate was different.
Like, I keep telling people too, like when Isaac came out, like people really didn't like it, and they were really critical, which is funny too. We were on PlayStation. We have a PlayStation 4 now since Isaac came out, and me and Danielle stream it sometimes. And we were looking at other people's streams, and I happened to like look over and see who the most popular like person playing Isaac was at that time. We had like 27 people commenting on the game, and it was really odd to see people who've never played the game and somebody who's never really played the game commenting on it, and people were saying the same stuff. It's like, why would you want to play a game where you lose all your loot that you worked for and you have to start all over again? And I remember thinking, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Like Isaac is based on this idea of like, when I played D&D, well, I never really fucking played, but I would always like making my character, and making my character was my favorite part, because I wanted to choose what my starting spells were, I wanted my stats, and I wanted this, and this. And I think when I originally started Isaac, I was like, I want to make a game that's purely based around this like really basic, primitive thing that I really enjoyed, which was making my character and then hyper leveling up. Like, I want to max out my character in 20 minutes.
Right.
And I want there to be an infinite skill tree, random skill tree, where I was just going to get different things and kind of play as I go. And I think that may be the foundational element, what people like so much. But there's just so many different factors there. I mean, it could be the familiarity that a lot of people have with the structure because it's a Zelda structure. It could be just the random aspects of the game. I don't think it's the theme. I mean, it's not enough. It's not really the appealing theme that everybody's going for in video games or whatever else. But
it's also the tight-ass controls, as someone in chat said. Tight-ass controls.
Yeah, tight-ass anything is good in my book.
Absolutely.
Right? Am I right, boys?
Am I right? Is he right, Danielle?
What?
I was waiting for some kind of filthy comment from Danielle. It never came.
I'm eating a popsicle and just hearing tight ass.
Tight ass. I want to ask you guys both. I want to ask you guys both a question. You guys both kind of work on the merchandise for this. Like, I know Ed, you have it up. And Danielle, you make a lot of it, or most of it, if not all of it, right?
The store is not up right now. There's a lot of reasons behind this that we can't
Okay.
shouldn't address at this
I
point
mean,
in time.
if you go on my Instagram, I'm an open book. I sort of, when Isaac came out, I sort of gave up on doing everything that I was doing and put it all into my mom. And so for however long that's been, I was trying to get her to a place, something that I should have been doing for myself. So that's where I'm at with the store right now. So
Fair enough.
I don't know when you guys are gonna get those fucking Gertie figures, because I could give a shit.
The honesty is brilliant.
Thank you.
Since the last time we've interviewed, though, Danielle, how's everything been in terms of just, watching the wheels go around? In terms of
Last time we spoke, I was a very happy person,
fair enough.
and now,
Do you have the same kind of issues with fame as Ed does? Do you feel like
it's not that, it's with our family, and that now I can take care of everybody, and they think I can take care of them, and I think I can take care of them, but I can't.
Gotcha.
Because if it was up to me, I would be like somebody that won the lotto and be like, everybody gets a house, die. And I would be miserable, but I'm still miserable.
Yep. That never changes.
Yeah,
Take it from me. That never changes.
I am hardcore working on the misery right now of trying to not be miserable.
Well, you've been playing a little bit of Isaac. I saw you guys streamed Isaac, I believe the night before it came out.
Yeah, that's...
And do you still do that, Danielle? Do you still play it, stream it, make videos and stuff?
Well, now that we have it on the PlayStation, you know what? It was fun when I was streaming for a while, and I have regular people that come in, and we had this whole Summer of Shigo thing where we were kind of trolling but also befriending this cam girl. And so everybody that was there for that, we're all good, and they don't piss me off. But people that are just coming in and add this, add that, this isn't Ed's stream. This is my stream. So,
yeah.
And he does not give a fuck what you're saying. So please don't make me look over at the chat and get distracted.
Yeah, it went from something that was fun for her to do, and I was very mindful of the fact that I'm you don't want, because she'll be like, you should tweet that I'm live streaming or whatever. I'm like, no, you don't want,
because of course I want viewers, but actually
you don't want the
no.
riffraff. You don't want the riffraff that a tweet of mine will bring into this chat. Keep it over there with people that understand who you are and will be respectful of that and understand your sense of humor, and we'll just keep it at that. But yeah, of course, I made the mistake of tweeting about our actual live stream, which did go well. But then the residual effect of that is you get a bunch of people who were just following for that stream who are like, "Who's this fucking girl on?"
Oh yeah.
And
Where's
my voice is annoying, and I'm not playing as well because my tits are in the way, and
Oh my god.
But I'm so good. I'm such a badass.
You are, though. I mean, you were.
Some of the shit I pull out is crazy.
Thinking about it makes me want to stream it tonight, but we'll see.
Stream hot piss on everyone's face.
It's brilliant. Speaking of, I'm fighting Dingle, so that's pretty cool.
Well,
I actually just got a luck up and a luck down within 2 seconds of each other, and that was fun.
welcome to my life.
Yeah. Perfect. But there is something fun about streaming, and then there is something that's just yeah, I know what you mean with the comments. The bigger this stream gets, the harder it is to read the chat, to focus on the chat, and to see the spam. And oh, Vinny, you're fucking terrible as Falco. Be a different character in Smash Brothers, you pleb.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
it's delayed, and it's I've already fucking done the thing that you.
I already failed as Falco 30 seconds ago. Fuck you. But it's the fun of streaming that, it's like everything else. There's a positive, there's a negative to it. But Isaac is I was actually talking to the stream the other day, and this game is really fun to stream because people, myself included as a viewer, get really invested in the runs you know, well, not like diarrhea, but the actual each particular run. And I have to say, the building of the character and kind of watching that character slowly ascend into goddom, you get involved, you get invested, and it's really interesting. And I know our audience here really enjoys watching Isaac. Hopefully not too much. When the first one came out, when the original came out, my God, 6 hours a day, 3 different people streaming it, 4 different people streaming it. Now we're kind of managing and balancing a bit, but the addictive fucking nature of this game, and then that applies to various other games like FTL. FTL is one of my favorite games, and that has the same kind of build your character, watch the character for an hour, and then if they die, you start again. It seems like this whole thing that kind of started with Isaac in some ways, not started with Isaac, but a slight renaissance, if you will, with Isaac, has turned into a very popular formula for an indie game. Legend of Dungeon, that's another one. Tower of Guns. A lot of great games use this formula, and as a streamer, they're a pleasure to stream. Play for an hour, stop, do something else.
I always thought of this formula as like the future of video games. I like after Isaac from then on, I knew that I don't think I can ever bring myself to design a game that doesn't have randomly generated elements like that, because it's like I feel like random generation is kind of what video games should strive for, because I feel like a randomly generated game is the new arcade game. It's the new high score. It's the new forever game.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, when the playing field was the best game out there is, Pac-Man or Donkey Kong, everybody was playing those games forever, over and over and over again, and they were playing it for high score. And this is essentially the same idea, except you're randomizing all the elements, so every single time you play is a completely new experience. So it's like it just lends itself to what makes games different than other things, and how to best utilize what games can do differently and can do better than other mediums.
That's right.
I mean, I think like the Isaac formula, just randomly generated formulas in general with games, really show you how it is not a movie, and it's so far away from a movie, and it's so far away from a board game, and it's so far, it's utilizing all the strengths in video games, in digital games, and that's just inspiring. And all the projects that I've been working on and currently working on all feature random generation. It's just hard to get away from it at this point, because I feel like it's just too good. And those are the kind of games I want to play. And I can appreciate a lot of different types of games, but the kind of games I want to play are those type of games. I want to play an infinite arcade game. But yeah.
Cool. It's like if Donkey Kong had random stages each and every time. Imagine, everyone would have played even more Donkey Kong, if that makes any sense. I mean, they played quite a lot of it, actually. King of Kong.
They probably complain about it, though. I mean, because when you put score in a game like that, then it doesn't really lend itself that much to it. Because
true, yeah.
Random elements feel like a fuck you than anything else, but that's why.
Then it becomes memorization.
Yeah, I never wanted to put score into.
The game that I think we play the most, at least right now, and then I have played the most personally besides Isaac, is Call of Duty. And people think that's weird and they don't get it, but it's like that's what I have time for. That's my skill level. I need it to be quick, and I need to probably feel like a badass at some point.
It is, yeah, and it's an easy way to do so. Like a lot of people don't even they scoff or think I'm joking too at the idea that when we were streaming Isaac on launch day or whatever, and I said, okay, well, we're going to get off here so we can play Call of Duty. It's like, ha, ha, ha. And it's like, no, for real. Because me and Danielle always play Call of Duty together, co-op online.
It's like our crosswords.
It's it's what we do together, and it's always been very fun. Say what you want about single player. Of course, I actually have maybe played 5 minutes of Black Ops maybe of single player, and God, I was like, good God, why would I ever play this? Why would anybody ever play this? But the multiplayer is still at its core, an arcade shooter, and you can't really go wrong with a Twitch-based arcade shooter. on a console that you can split screen with somebody that you love and want to play with.
And you got a double jump.
And that's another misconception too, is like that I don't play mainstream games. Of course I play mainstream games. If there weren't mainstream games and I didn't play them,
no games.
Exactly, I wouldn't want to make games. Like that's what I do. And I'm going to be playing Smash Brothers very soon here. I just realized that when I looked at what the date it was. It's like
I know.
far away.
I've been playing.
If you change your character to a woman in Call of Duty, I didn't realize this because they made it too difficult to change over last time. And now it's very creepy when I get shot.
Yeah, you just hear a woman moaning and groaning in the weirdest ways, and it's very, very jarring.
And I really feel bad now when I get hurt.
It's weird. It's weird to suddenly hear like an.
I hate to say it, it's almost like Isaac being, voiced by a child. It's like, oh, I don't want him to get hurt because he sounds painful.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I mean, I like the sound.
Matthias'
it's like
daughter, by the way. I don't know if everybody knows that, but yeah, that Matthias who did the music with
Matthias Bossy, yeah.
His daughter Tallulah voiced not only Isaac, but a great majority of all the childlike enemies in the game were also her.
Oh wow.
She's pretty talented, and she's only how old?
She's like 3.
3, almost 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I begged him for that. I was like, I didn't want to. It's a weird thing to ask. Get your 3-year-old daughter to make like act like she's dying and like screaming like a demon and all this other stuff. Like, how do you ask somebody to do that? But that's what I always wanted. Like, it's important, And I knew that it would probably be a little girl's voice, and then we just pitch it a little bit. That's what they do in like cartoons and stuff too. But I remember when that was kind of announced that we were really using a little kid's voice for Isaac. People were like, that's fucked.
Oh god.
That's fucked. Did you do that? I don't want to play a game where there's a little kid crying when they get. I don't want to do that. It's like, do you know what you're playing? Do you realize what you're doing in this game and what's going on?
Yeah, last night I got cancer in this game, and they're upset about a little girl's voice. Please.
Yeah. I believe somebody said it was child abuse.
No, it just makes me not want to get hit in the game.
We've been super lucky to, along the way, find other artists. Like, no matter what they're doing, they are artists truly first. So, taking a risk, getting enthusiastic about something that you're not totally sure about, but you believe in it. We've been lucky to find a few people like that, and Matthias is definitely one of them.
Oh, for sure.
One of our streamers.
His wife, Carla Kildstedt, who's like a crazy violin player. Crazy by, I can't think of the word, really good.
Not actually mentally ill.
Right.
She is the first person that I made besides Ed, I made hand-sewed a little plushie of her and gave it to her at the show like 10 years ago. And she took it up on stage and I was like, ugh! And then now he is in our lives. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Matthias is awesome. We met him at PAX, and the dude just was flowing with exuberance and oddness and art and the way his cadence of speaking was.
Oh yeah.
I know, he's so old-timey, handsome 1800s. He can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very versatile dude for sure. I mean, I try to surround myself like he is one of a few people in my life that I like to work with and keep around to remind myself that I'm an artist and what I'm doing is art, and I need to stay true to the things that I find most important. It's just like, and another one of those people is actually Tonetta, who I'm not sure if you know who Tonetta is, right? Do you know who Tonetta is?
Me, Ed?
Yes.
Oh no, I don't actually. Who's that?
Okay. You probably do know who he is. You just don't know him. So Tonetta is a 65-year-old musical artist who is very popular on YouTube. He made a video called Pressure Zone, which got really popular, where he dances around half naked with a mask on, talking about sticking things up his ass. It's something to Revelin, and he's a great musician, like a very, very talented musician. He's a 65-year-old dude. He's never really found success with his music, but still obsessively wrote music over the course of 30 years or whatever that he never really released to the public. And then once he found YouTube, when he was in his 60s, he paid people to upload his videos, and he made weird music videos and kind of like found a voice. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to talk to him in person, and just seeing how he works and just understanding him as an artist has just made me feel really good. And just working with different artists, and they're always musicians. I just have that connection to, I think, musicians. There's something there that I really respect, and I feel is very, it might be just the expression. I don't know, but he's just one of a few people in Matthias as well that have kind of inspired me as well to just remember where I am, what I have, and what I can and should be doing and utilizing in my day-to-day life when it comes to art in general.
That's good to hear, man. And I know who you're talking about now. I just saw a picture. Someone posted the picture. And yes, the man is brilliant. We had him featured on Vinesauce for a little bit. It's weird as fuck, but that's the beauty of it. You don't get it every day. You don't see stuff like that. And that's what I want to see. Did you see Too Many Cooks?
Yeah.
The video that's been going around. What'd you think of that?
The other day, I was playing Magic, and Chris, one of the guys who play Magic with, was like, "You got to see this Too Many Cooks thing." It's great, of course.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I had to link to it and didn't click it because I hate when people link me to things.
Dale only likes to link people to things.
Yeah. Well, you watch what I show you. I don't need your input.
It's like, how dare you presume that I have the time to watch this dredge?
Turn the volume up on my phone right now, please.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the music in this game, because Matthias and Ridiculon have worked on the music, and now I'm a huge fan of the drum and bass orientation that the soundtrack took for Rebirth.
Yeah.
There's some great stuff on here that just gets stuck in your head, and it's like fun to you get pumped when you're in the basement and you hear that music. How do you feel about the direction this soundtrack went?
I mean, I loved every little minute of it. It was like going into it, because originally it was like, oh, who's gonna do it, and what direction are we gonna go with this? And when I asked Matthias, they were still working on Mugenics, and it's like it couldn't be any further from what this is. Like Mugenics was very, very happy and goofy and but still dark, but like this just like very kind of lighthearted, fun, swingy, oldie time music. And when I was like, well, can you take a stab at this? But I mean, the guy, like, Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum was very dark and pagan, and I knew that the potential was there to really like utilize that darkness in the game and just give it kind of an attitude. But man, yeah, no, him and John took it and really ran with it, and it took a little while and a lot of like explaining to like, this is the direction, because the game still looks so cartoony and light and everything, but it's hard to like be like, no, I want it coupled with this kind of like really dark, metally sludge, thumpy. Yeah. Like I want you to, and I want the environment to feel a part of the music. And man, yeah, I think the Caves was like the second track they sent, and when he sent that, I was like, yeah. The bass slide on that track. I'm there right now. I'm listening to it while we're talking, like very low, and I'm just like, yeah, that fucking bass slide. Yeah, you like that? You fucking bass. It's like, holy shit, this is a great song. It's great, and like I mean, for them to go in, it's just like the art style, but it's like you've got this game that everybody loves, and all these fans out there are looking forward to the new version, and then you totally switch up the graphics. Of course, they're going to have such a hard time dealing with change. And I knew the music was just going to be just as much of a hurdle when it came to this. But I was actually way more secure and comfortable with that music change because I knew that, like, well, how could you not love this? Like, this is great. Like, this is just such good stuff. They just
Not to detract from Danny B's work.
What was that?
Not to detract from Danny B's work. He did a fantastic job on the original.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but when you switch something out like that underneath somebody, and you would say, okay, yeah, well, here's the game that you like, but now it's going to sound and look different.
Gotcha.
It's like it's gonna be jarring.
Yeah.
But going in, like, especially, I knew that with all, like, the new graphics filters and a lot of the darkness of just the overall visual darkness of the game, that things just needed to feel more rich and darker and more sludgy. It needed to bring it down, and they killed it. They did an amazing job.
The art style, I prefer this one. You know, I know you've mentioned, like, it was a little bit rushed, the first one, and I know the technical limitations. We've spoken about that, but I really like what Nicholas did with this and the input you've had, and everything worked really well. And I have to say, this is a fine game, Ed. This is a very fine game, and it's the type of game that I would like to see on my consoles, which it's already out on the Sony consoles, and you know. In the future, you just want this to be on everything.
Well, and so do I.
Of course, we all do. But it's great that it's on Steam. It's accessible and it's here. I'm actually playing this with an Xbox One mini controller.
Yeah.
And it feels great. I mean, I don't have an Xbox. I bought it for the PC, and it's just a really just tight, fun game to play. And Nicholas, man, they did such a killer job with this. How do you feel about those guys?
They did a really good job. Really, really, really good job.
They were super patient with you too, weren't they?
They were, and it was like I said before in the other cast, it was like the hardest thing about working on Rebirth was the guilt that I felt when I really would just dump. Like, you don't even know. Like, they would send me a build, and I'd be like, and then I'd email them back a list of like 200 fixes of like, this item needs to do this, this thing needs to look this way, and I felt such immense guilt, like, because I don't know, I think that's just a weird character flaw with me. Like, I had my first massage the last week, and it is purely because of the guilt that I would feel that somebody would have to be doing something physical to me. It's just horrible. I can't. It's hard for me to bring myself to do that, or even to if a mover or somebody who's moving something or delivering something, and they're gonna move it into my house, I feel this like pain of like, I need to help. Like, I should be helping. I can't help this person, even though that's their job, and obviously they want to do it. Yeah. So it was very hard for me to like let go of that, and I think that was kind of an exercise in that as well. I was very worried that I was going to be too much of a control freak. But the best part was the fact that everybody working on that had like over 100 hours in the game, and that was like from the get-go. Tyrone's like, everybody working on it right now has got like 100 hours plus. They've
100 hours.
But they all knew the game so well that when people, I was also worried that people were going to suggest things, and I was going to be like, oh man, I'm going to have to just say, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. I'll handle this. Like, but no, they would all suggest totally legit ideas that worked so well. I don't know. Yeah, it was a really, really easygoing experience aside from the guilt that I felt. But now I know what they can take, and I'll pile it on with the expansion.
On my end, it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the business side of things, like not having to deal, like having Tyrone, who deals with that sort of stuff, do all the business related things and go to all the meetings with executives that I could fucking care if they burn for forever.
Right.
You know,
he likes it though.
He's really good at it. Like, it's my experience with this is, I bet I have to do it myself. Like, that's kind of how it works when you're indie. You know, if you're just one or two people, you've got to just split it and like figure out who's going to deal with this and who's going to deal with that. And for the most part, when it came to interaction with any business things with other companies and then talking to other people, I always had to do that. And selling the game in general. This was a much easier experience for me, a much easier experience for me, because I got to focus on my other projects and oversee this. And my design was down on paper very clearly for everybody to see. And I had open communications with everybody involved for quite a while. Of course, I did push the game back a year, but that was, to turn it into what it is today. I mean, if it wasn't pushed back a year, you guys would have just been playing the same game again completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was easy. I really enjoyed working with all of them for sure.
And the extra content, like you said, that actual delay, it was great to see all the extra stuff and feel like I was playing a full expansion on top of what had already come before.
For sure.
So thank you for that, and thank you for keeping the game. Like Shigeru Miyamoto said, I where am I getting all these quotes tonight? My God. A bad game is bad forever, but a delayed game is eventually good. I think that's the quote. I think I got that wrong.
It makes sense.
But you know where I'm coming from with it.
English?
You're a liar, sir.
It was more like, I can't do it. Sorry. I'm starting to do it.
What did Danielle do? I couldn't hear.
I started to do an old Japanese man voice, and then I just really gave it up because it was.
Oh, okay.
No. Christopher Walken impression, not good.
What? Baby, I got. There's a stupid Walken. Yeah, you got realistic Walken, then you go deep for stupid Walken. I like that one better.
We actually ran into him at GDC once a long time ago, about like a year after.
Miyamoto or Walken?
Miyamoto.
Pictures with him.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god. I was ecstatic, of course. And I met him, and I'm like, can I talk to him? And the people around him, I don't know. They're his guards. I don't know who they were.
His guardians.
And they're like, sure. And then I'm like, and I'm trying to explain, like, I made this game called Gish, and it won an award, and here's my card, and I just wanted to say you're really awesome. And then, like, I realized that he probably didn't understand a word that I was saying, and I think somebody actually said that they didn't think that he didn't. There's no way that he cared.
Right.
Either way, but yeah, it was. I felt like a huge idiot the whole time. It's just like when I met Buzz, and I felt like I was gonna have all these questions and things, and I just sat there like an idiot.
Did you remember when we were going to meet Buzz? What happened?
Oh, Buzz Osborne.
Yeah, we were going to, which is like.
Yeah. It's all connected.
You, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a direct result of the website. Yeah.
Yep.
Vinesauce.
So we were like all super nervous, and there wasn't a lot of people there yet, and we're trying to get in, and then we see like we're getting from the front door. This guy's finally gonna let us go, take us backstage or back, down into the thing, and these two little boys are walking towards us. Well, not little, like teenagers, and they're like, "Hey, are you?" And I was like, "No." And we're just walking, just like, you don't understand what you think's happening right now. That's happening to us. We're going to meet Edmund McMillen in our life, so just hold up for 1 second, little boys, and then we'll talk to you about Meat Boy. Just 1 sec. So that was kind of funny to be.
Wow.
We were somebody was starstruck by Ed as we were like in the midst of our starstruck and had to brush them off.
That's awesome.
I'm sure I came off much worse than they did to us. It's so frustrating. Like we talked about this last time. It's so frustrating to like want so desperately to connect to these artists that you were so inspired by that have no fucking clue about the medium that you've chosen. Like, how am I supposed to explain to any musician how they inspired me to make a video game? Because
I caught it.
The generation gap is so big too. Like, a lot of musicians that inspired me never played video games. Like they maybe like.
And I have a
Pac-Man.
feeling are not
Yeah.
even computer savvy.
I don't
That's
know.
right.
I just feel like a real huge nerd trying to explain the connections and be like, no, wait, no, there's more.
But when we were just sitting like really close to him and staring at him and smiling, that part was
We're coming off awesome. Luckily, Danielle can like save the day, and there's been many situations where we'll meet somebody like a musician or whatever, and then they'll comment on how cool her shoes are, and I'm like, yeah, see, I've got a cool one.
Nice.
She saves the day. I did it.
Yeah.
I chose that.
I was so scared to possibly meet Chino
Yeah.
from the Deftones, and I had these white Doc Martens with flowers on them, and I was like, this is a huge statement. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should do this, but I did it. And he was like, cool shoes. And I was like, ah!
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, sorry, Ed, Chino wants to marry me. I gotta go.
Later.
I was like, all right.
I found a chubbier, hairier Mexican.
Oh my God, you guys.
Yeah.
This is what I remember from 2 years ago, just laughing, just having fun talking to you guys.
Oh God, take me back.
But we
Take me away.
that was a horrible time in my life. God, that was like,
I remember, and I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. It was like a week after. I was like, whoa, can I do this interview? And it worked. But in any case, yeah, I mean, the heavy stuff is fine. I like getting a little bit, deep for a bit, but then, of course you got to bring it back up. But it's nice to meet people that you respect and love. I met the guitarist from Wilco randomly at a Tame Impala concert. The Flaming Lips played, and they were awful. I liked them better when they were making music for human ears and not machines. But yeah, I met the guitarist from Wilco, and we talked for a little bit. I don't remember a thing he said. We spoke for a minute and a half. I don't remember anything. I just knew I had to get out of there because I felt like I was bothering him. Meanwhile, the guy was like, hey, do you want a picture? I was like, what did you say? I gotta go. So I kind of have the same thing.
At the end, so yeah, at the end of the whole,
That's why
at the end of the whole, the Melvin show, I was like, all right, we got to get out of here. I feel like I'm in everybody's way. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to talk to bullshit about fucking video games or anything like that. I feel like they feel obligated to say something. I hate that feeling, and I got to get out of here. And then Daniel's like, no, they probably want to I don't know what.
Yeah, it's like, we're not leaving right now.
Daniel has to swoop down and be like, no, listen,
And,
I've got cool shoes on,
and
and somebody's got to see them.
And we're getting pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna think I'm adorable, please.
So I nervously waddle my ass down the stairs, and then Dale's there, and he's like, you're not going to leave, are you? And I'm like,
And then
no, I'll stay, that's cool.
Also, then we over here. I feel like we walked down and Mike Patton was talking to Dale about you, and it was like, what?
Yeah, overhearing Mike Patton explaining to Dale and Buzz
That's a big deal.
the games that I worked on. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay. It was a magical experience, and I'm gonna just go back there.
That's something that I would be pretty pleased about as well.
Whenever a family member disappoints me, I will think
Of Mike Patton's
Patton. Yes.
Your musical family.
Yes.
Now, for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, we Vinesauce, a few viewers, actually petitioned the Melvins, the band the Melvins, one of again, to put it into relation, one of Kurt Cobain's compatriots in a way, and Nirvana, and the Melvins were, I think they were on the bill a few times. They toured together, yeah?
Yeah, Kurt Cobain was a roadie for them.
He was, that's correct, yeah. And the drummer from Dale actually was on a few Nirvana things. I think he was on Bleach.
Both Buzz and Dale worked, I believe, on most of the songs on Incesticide. They're actually on the... I remember seeing their faces. That's when I was first introduced to Buzz, because, you don't forget his hair.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the back of the cassette that I bought.
I had that cassette as well. So, yeah, for anyone that didn't know, we actually, we were talking, Ed and I, and Vinesauce managed to get Ed into a show backstage to meet the Melvins. And I can't really take full credit for that. All I did was just talk to you, Ed. But we had some really, that's where the positivity of an internet community can
not
come
only
in.
to whoever's connected us, but Greg from Indicac is also a huge nerd, and nerdy enough to know who I am, was able to connect the dots completely.
Oh.
So
that's cool.
Shout out to Greg, he was awesome.
Cool, man. Well, I love that. I mean, there's some positivity that happens, from the community, and I was happy that we could have that opportunity to give you that, and therefore, it justified the interview. And I felt bad bothering you. You feel bad bothering people. When I first emailed you for the first interview, I was like, oh, this guy's busy. I don't want to bother him. Everyone was like, Vinny, email Ed. You might get an interview. I was like, okay. And I did. And also, when Rebirth came out, I didn't want to bother you for the longest time until other people started bothering you on your Tumblr. Hey, Ed, I really like that Vinesauce interview. Would you ever consider talking to Vinny again?
Yeah,
that
was such a common thing.
Too. That was in my chat. I was like, can't that guy message us? Why are you bothering?
In the chat, yeah.
I think I said that repeatedly. Like, that whenever you want an interview, all you have to do is ask. And
That's right.
Totally make time for it. I haven't, like we've alluded to, the past half a year has been really fucking horrible. There's been a lot of horrible things that have happened, and it's made the release a little odd. Like, I've got a new take on things, and I'm going to try things a little differently when it comes to my interaction. And I'm sure many have noticed that I'm not active on Tumblr anymore. I don't think I'm coming back to it. I'm not that active on Twitter anymore. I'll be using that to get messages across and announce things and whatever else. But for the most part, it's for my own mental health, and just in general, it's just not good for me to overextend my self to the community because I don't like it. I don't like the industry so much, and it's become harder and harder to kind of deal with. And again, like I said in the beginning, like, all it does is make me feel like an alien. Like, I feel like I feel like my feelings are incorrect or something. Like, I don't understand why I don't feel like these other people. I don't understand why I don't care about these issues that these other people seem to care about. It doesn't seem like a thing, and it has nothing to do with the reason why I make video games, and I don't understand why they're talking about any of the things that they're talking about. I've kind of made that decision to take a big jump back and just be like, all right, I'm just going to work on my stuff and put it out there, and if I get requests for a cool interview, I will always do interviews with you, for sure.
Thank you.
I will do them, but for the most part, you know what, like, you guys know who I am. You've seen this shit a million times, and I'm sure the next 10 games I make will all be rehashing the same weird childhood experiences that I seem to be, regurgitating repeatedly. In different ways.
In different ways.
New, inventive, different ways, but that's just what I do, and I like it.
We like it too. And I like it a lot. And to answer not to answer, but to kind of reassure you, I think the reason you don't feel the same way is because, just like at the end of that movie Driver, where they say you're a real human being, that's you, Ed. You're a real human being. Sorry, I couldn't do that with a straight face. You're a person, and I think you recognize rightly that people are not corporations and we're not machines, and I respect that, and I know a lot of our viewers do too. That's why a lot of them are here. I think
it's not even that; it's just this weird in between. You've got this robotic, soulless corporation side, and then you've got this other rabid animal side. You've got these two sides, and then everybody's like, choose a side. And it's like, I'm not here. I'm way over here.
Yep.
Like, I don't want any part of this. Like, just leave me alone. Like,
I hadn't realized until, because I guess when we were supposed to be relaxing, we bought Diablo for the PS4, and then I kept saying, like, I don't want to play it. Do you want to play it? No, I don't want to play it. I don't want to do anything. And then, of course, I've been waiting for Call of Duty, so that I forgot that I like playing video games because I fucking hate everything that goes along with it so much. I used to really like playing video games until it turned into, I'm a game dev's wife. Like, no, I'm fucking not. I am me. And I am a wife, but that's a very small part of who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking headshot killer.
That's why I love Danielle. The one-liners are great.
Headshot killer.
You guys have a good sense of humor about the whole thing, and that's important. And I know how you feel when it comes to sometimes you can get distracted from how great video games are, and then a game like Smash Brothers comes out, and you guys are going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, you have no idea. It's something
yeah.
I'm looking forward to so much.
And our nieces and nephews are old enough that we don't have to go easy on them.
We had the amazing experience to watch our nephew Eli. He's not the youngest. He's like the middle nephew. He is obsessed with video games. He's a huge nerd. He's not a social kid.
He's a rager.
He's a rager. But he's really into games, and it's weird to kind of. I have this like total window into this generation growing up, which is one of the reasons why I'm working on Super Meat Boy Forever right now, is because I understand the importance of phones and the touchscreen medium. Even though I'm not a huge fan of it and I don't like the environment, I still know that Eli needs a Mario on that system. And I would like it if I could make something close to a Mario on that system. So that's what I'm trying to do. But all that aside, I watch this kid play games, and for the most part, he plays games like how people watch live stream stuff. Like he goes and he will Google. He played Isaac because he wasn't coordinated enough to double hand the keyboard. So he would just go and Google Isaac. And I didn't realize how much he'd watched, because he would come back over and he would start telling me about all this stuff that I'm like, how do you know about all this stuff? Oh, I watch it. And that's all he does. He watches people play shitloads of games.
Wow.
And he was just so into, he transitioned from watching people play games to then playing Mario, like the old school ones. And,
Good.
Which is odd too, because to a kid that age who doesn't understand that that's retro looking, he just accepts it for what it is. It doesn't look old. It doesn't look old because there's no reference to what old is.
To be fair, they like Scooby-Doo and a lot of terrible animation, so their taste level's questionable.
Taste level's questionable. They are little children. But he got really into just that, and he got really into Meat Boy, and he got really good at Meat Boy. And then he's really into Kirby. But really into Mario in general. And then we had this epiphany driving home one day where we're like, oh my God, he doesn't know what Smash Brothers is.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right. It only comes out like once a generation.
Exactly. So it was like, he has no idea that all these games that he plays and knows, that all these characters are in this fighting game that you can fight. And oh my God, we went and bought it instantly for I think it was the Wii version or the GameCube version. Yeah. GameCube version, and they played it on their Wii. And it was just like, oh my God! Like, it was and to watch him like totally get into it, it was just so cool. And now that I know that game's coming out, I know how exciting it's going to be to play with them, and it's just going to be good. I'm really looking forward to it. And both of us have put off even looking or being tempted to buy the 3DS version just so we can just go into the Wii U version pure and play it on the television.
Yeah. You guys are going to love it. Without giving anything away, the new characters are tremendous fun, and you guys are going to just have a great time. I can't wait for it myself. I did play the 3DS version, and I practice, because I was always the worst of my friends. So now they can go fuck themselves in the ass. So I got them. I got their number this time. But yeah, I mean, quick thing I wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to ask a few community questions, and we'll wind this down a little bit. Our chats always go for a long time, Ed, and that's one thing. Other developer interviews, I'm usually pretty good. I'm on point, quick. But when I talk to you, I just love diverting into different fields and different topics, because there's a lot to get, I feel, from your insights into things. And we're going an hour and a half, so let's wind it down a bit. But I want to ask you about Super Meat Boy Forever. All right, you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in this, and I know what it is generally, but for those that don't know what it is, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Let me do it.
Yeah.
Super Meat Boy.
Yes.
Forever.
Forever.
Super Meat Boy Forever is a randomly generated Meat Boy game that is designed around touchscreen or / 2-button control, which sounds like, if I heard somebody say that, I'd be like, well, that sounds stupid.
But what it is it makes you feel like a badass.
But it is actually, just trust me when I say it's going to be hard to understand until you get your hands on it, which you will, and I'm sure we'll probably make some sort of dumb free demo thing where you can pay to upgrade, but not pay to win.
Nice.
And controls amazingly. I swear to God.
It's super cool.
It controls perfectly, and it is exactly what I had in mind and what we talked about making many years ago. Like we started making little demos and stuff for this idea right when we kind of released Meat Boy, and it was cool then, even though it was actually just running off of the old Meat Boy game, and I think we had to put it on the back burner because Tommy still had to finish some bullshit that we shouldn't have done, which was like level editor and a bunch of other stuff that we had to do for the game. And then, life happened.
Well, also there was like a stigma of like, I'm done with Meat Boy. I'm going to do something else.
There definitely was that. Like, we got to do something else. And it was that so much to the point of like, let's do a game jam game. And then we started working on Mugenics as a game jam game. And then it was so fun to work on then that we're like, oh, this will be our next game. And then we thought we'd have it done in 6 months. But then once 6 months rolled around, it was like, well, this has more potential. Let's just keep pushing it. And then the year mark rolls around, and it's like, well, it's been a year. We got to make it really seem like we put a lot into it. Let's keep going. Mm-hmm. And then 2 years roll around, and we're like, oh my God, this is going to be another year for us to really realistically finish this game. And I think it was so taxing overall that we thought we'll just go back to that idea again and kind of like explore. And realistically, Meat Boy can be finished a lot faster. Sadly, I'm on a bit of a vacation right now, so I'm not working on it actively. I'm not working on anything right now. I'm working on my sanity.
That's good.
As one would assume from this interview.
That's a job.
That Meat Boy tit is full and just waiting for the milking.
Yeah. It is the most supple...
Excuse me, teat.
It is the most supple teat you could...
You can't say tit on the internet?
Teat.
Got it. Thank you.
It is like perky but weighted. Like you could visually feel the weight on your hand as you cup it.
There's some dried stuff on there. I don't know what it is.
Meat juice. I'm showing screenshots as we're talking, like the ones you put on the supermeatboy.com. And yeah.
I thought you were full teats.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure there's some...
Search meat.
I'm putting like meat breasts on the screen. Matthias Bossy just added me on Skype, and he added me like 10 times in a row. So I added him back. I said, "Real Matthias?" ? He says, "Fuck yeah, we embraced in Boston." That was enough proof.
You should pull him in
to the chat. I mean, to the call.
I'm gonna do that.
If he's around, let's see.
He's on a mobile device. I don't know if he's.
Oh, he might just be on his phone.
Yeah.
It's a little later over there.
He's the only person that can get away with wearing that kind of hat.
I know. I don't get it.
It's 11:30 p.m. for us right now. Me and Matt. There. Hello, Matthias.
Is this the boys from Vinesauce and also Edmund McMillen from Santa Cruz, California?
I believe you've got the right number.
Who's this?
This is the guy with the beard that you see twice a year, occasionally. That sometimes writes music for some of your games.
I don't know.
What games? Games?
Burger Time. Don't you remember Burger Time? That one we did.
I do remember that. I should point out that Matthias and John are also writing the music for Super Meat Boy Forever, and it is quite amazing. It was actually previewed at PAX. I don't know if you heard it there.
No, we were there. I couldn't hear 2 feet further than my face, but I was able to hear Matthias because I was filming him, and my compadre KY interviewed him, and we spoke about.
I believe
some
that was a
things.
different. I think it was at PAX Prime later in the year. Boston was a shit show. I remember being with you guys. There was some like insane immersive musical video game that was drowning out all of Mugenics, and that's where I spoke to you.
That's correct. So it was different packs, yeah.
Yeah, different packs. But it is true. Ed is not lying to you. John and I, a.k.a. Ridiculon are writing the music for SMB:F. That's what I'm calling it. SMB:F, baby.
Nice.
Is
You've
it
got
a
a
colon? It is a colon, right? Not a semicolon.
F colon.
The semicolon is the one with the comma at the bottom. So you
Right,
got it
yeah.
right. It's the colon, yeah.
Yeah.
Matthias,
Yes.
I have to say you've got a bit of a Tom Waits quality to you,
Oh,
in the best possible way.
all right. Well, I do enjoy his music. My wife Carla has been playing with him for many years. They've made lots of records together. So I've
We
had the
told you
pleasure.
she was cool.
I
Wow.
just need to defend Matthias here, and Tom Waits' face looks like a foot.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Definitely not in the
No.
looks department. Matthias is a handsome, bearded gentleman.
I just had
Thanks,
to defend
guys. I mean, really, all I did was I wanted to add so that you guys would call and compliment my face.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about your art. We want to talk
I
about your
don't really
face.
care about what anybody can do. It's all about the face.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Do you make me want to barf? No.
You're
But
in.
your face makes me want to fucking yell out loud about
Very loudly.
love.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm really glad to be on this call with you guys. I was hoping that my little bit of infiltration would work because it's way better than watching Fast and Loud on the Discovery Channel, which I do
It worked.
enjoy.
It worked, Matthias. Here's the thing. I caught it a little bit late. You were 20 minutes ago. You had added me, but we got you now. And you know what? While you're here, before I go into the community questions, I want to ask you a few quick questions, Matthias.
Please.
Your inspiration, Ed had already explained how he kind of gave you some hints about how he wanted the soundtrack for Isaac Rebirth to go.
I called them tips and tricks.
Yeah,
Jeez.
tips and tricks. That's
From
good.
the
It's like a
experts.
kid's cereal.
Yeah.
and you got these. You got these little tips and tricks. How helpful were they, as opposed to maybe just studying the visuals and coming up with something? Like, what was the process for getting some
I
of
think
this
it's
dark
immensely
music?
helpful. It was fun to work in what amounted to a top secret mission. Ed and his cohorts, mostly just Ed, would write poetry. Various floors felt like this, smelled like this. Here's what the boss does. He would send along some YouTube reference tracks, and then, of course, he would mercilessly flog us. 12 revisions, 18 revisions, 27 revisions, until I was weeping,
More
calling out for... It was just brutal.
From the outside looking in, it was so nice to see Ed hear music and then get inspired. Like, it was just a constant circle of you'd send him something and then he'd be super inspired, not frustrated.
Yeah. I use Matthias.
You feed off of his energy like a psychic vampire.
I cash it in.
Yeah, he's like Banicula, but my boss.
Send me that next track so I can make a game and make money. Ha.
Yeah.
Click the advertisement if you want more coins, more play coins, Isaac play coins.
Anyway, it was easy. It was also fun. Ed loves many, many different kinds of music and has known me in the various weirdo bands that I've been in, and just kind of let us go crazy. I mean, in a very different sort of way than we first started working together. Mugenics, I mean, I literally tried to get fired every day, and that's when it started to get to work. It's just
Right.
the wronger we made it, the more excited they got. You know, it's interesting with Isaac, given that it's an established thing. It's an iconic game. How to reinvent it in some way while not necessarily paying homage to the original construct, but yeah, I mean, we stepped onto a moving walkway into a world that already very much existed, but we're not also terrible at being anyone else but ourselves. So we somehow managed to shapeshift and still be wacky and irreverent, discordant, and out of tune, and we made it all work.
As a musician, myself, I like to make. I don't know how you would feel about this, Matthias. I use Fruity Loops to make my weird, discordant music, and it works perfectly well for me.
Right.
And I like what you've done. I like the textures you've used. I like the things that you constructed. Like Ed said earlier, to make these floors living, breathing. It was exciting to play through the game and discover your music and hear a new track every level, every floor, go down to the caves. Oh God, we have this bass now. That sounds just fantastic.
I do love that bass.
Isn't that great?
It is good. Well, I mean, I was physically detuning the bass while John played. There was a few that instance in the caves, that little bridge section, bow, where it just kind of dives off and goes like, just rumbly, like diarrhea bass. I mean, I love that.
It's beautiful.
Yes, I got a question from Matthias. What's your favorite track? What track are you most proud of on Isaac?
That's a good question. I love caves. I do. It satisfies many parts of, like, it's kind of groovy. It's slow, but there's like this very ponderous, thick, like halftime groove underneath with a detuned, rusty snare drum. That is my favorite drum in the whole world. But then there's that kind of skittery, like, crab claw sounding 16th note thing over the top that gives it a little propulsion, and it has it's like it's catchy, but it's not, because there's no melody in the song. There's just a bunch of chords kind of wafting by. I don't know. I love caves, but I also love You Died, and I love The Calm. And I'd be hard pressed to pick my favorite battle track, but I'd have to say that it's maybe Ventricide. Yeah, and then there's the and I love the Jesus Loves You track. I hope did that make it into the game?
Something weird happened there. I'm still trying to get it back in the game, but there was some issue that Tyrone was worried about, since it wasn't reported to ESRB as a track, that he added it again after the fact, that it might violate some terms.
Yeah, the terms that we've got with the Almighty Father.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. There was definitely something weird there that had to do with ESRB that he was worried about, and I can relate, because I understand how scary sometimes ESRB could be.
Sure.
Because there were many times where I was like, with Meat Boy, like, I've got to submit all this stuff, and I'm trying to explain how a fetus is being crushed by under a little character's feet in the gentlest way possible as to not.
No, but seriously, it's cute. I drew it myself. Yeah. It's colorful. Yeah. Anyhow, I can't believe this game finally came out. Here I am. If you guys could only see where I am. I don't know. I'm out here in the country, and it's really fun to see this thing kind of taken off, and to see all the lovers and haters, who I take in equal measure, and I just let it wash over me, and I love it all. I think it's incredible. Like, this game is out, and we've just been grinding head down for, well, certainly not as long as Ed and Tyrone and the Nicholas crew, but we've thought about little else in the last year, and now the day has come. It's really exciting.
Well, the Vine folk, we're all very big fans of this new soundtrack.
Great.
And I love it. I love the bass. I love the percussion. I love the textures. And I know a lot of us feel the same way. And it must feel great to finally have it out and have your hard work recognized. And you guys at Ridiculon have done a fantastic job. I'm very excited to hear what you'll do with Meat Boy and with Mugenics beyond that.
Great. Well, Mugenics is that's a separate galaxy of musical mashups. I think people are. I'm actually really thankful that Isaac came out first, because had Mugenics come out first, no one would have called us to make the heavy metal soundtracks, because they would have just thought we were like SpongeBob impersonators.
Like, holy shit, the Mugenics soundtrack is...
It is. It's great. It's just so fucking goofy. It's really out of control, and it's like barely hanging on. It's like the metal thing with Isaac. We are slaves to the groove, and like the chugging, and like the big heavy slab metal riffage. And Mugenics is in some ways way more dangerous and unsettling, because it's really it's
chicken
so
dance on
wild.
DMT.
You can dance to it.
Yeah, you can.
We listen to it in the car.
Oops. Yeah.
It's like, it just needs, I feel like I'm just going to put it out, okay?
Just sit.
You know,
Put it out.
I've said before, like, Mugenics soundtrack is the best video game soundtrack I've ever heard, and that's not just because I'm involved.
It's my favorite thing to come out of Mugenics.
And
Zing.
Super Meat Boy will be, I don't know, currently, we have been working on it. There's a handful of songs that are in service of the game. It's somewhere in between the dark, stormy Isaac and the totally absurd Mugenics. There's some good fun metal. There's lots of sort of chiptune things in store for the people of planet Earth, and it's gonna be a fun ride.
Speaking of Isaac, I don't know how many people realize. They might realize now that
Ed, I just had the same thought.
Yeah, that Matthias is the intro voice and has always been the intro narrator for The Binding of Isaac. You need to say Isaac and his Isaac.
Isaac and his Isaac.
Yeah, there it is.
I usually do Isaac and his brother, or like cousin, or extended family when I start the game. I can't help it.
Right.
Isaac.
Yeah.
It's just fun, right? Like you guys have fun. Matthias, I actually didn't know you were the guy from the original. I thought maybe you had taken someone else's job.
Nope, I am the guy from the original. That's the first thing Ed called me for. You know, he used to come out. He and Danielle used to come out to our shows when we would play in Santa Cruz at the Attic or the Catalyst or the Brookdale Lodge.
Yeah, the
They
Brookdale
even made a movie about going to see us at the Brookdale Lodge.
feature length.
It's a feature length with
That's
music
amazing.
by Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, 8mm. It was. We didn't make our money back on that.
No way. Because it's only been watched 8 times on YouTube.
Hey, you could link it here, Ed, if you need. If you want some more people to check that out. Just saying.
Anyhow, that Isaac thing was the first thing he called me for. That would have been the summer of 2011. And I actually recorded. It was before John and I were officially Ridiculon. I had left California. John was still living out there, and I was out there for the summer. I got a call from Ed, and I had been talking to John about some stuff, you know, and that was the first thing we ever did together, was me just recording the VO in his old studio.
Hey, Matthias, what did you think when I called you and said, hey, can you do this? Can you read this like this? What did you think of what you were saying and what I explained to you?
Oh, it's a dream. Are you kidding? I mean, that's just where I exist. I thought I was dreaming, but it was real. It was really fun. I mean, I so love living in that world, the serious narrator world. I mean, it's something that I do beyond composing for games. I do a ton of voiceover work for very dry stuff. I just did a guided tour of Golden Gate Park last week that you'll be able to take sometime in the next couple months, where I play the omniscient forest spirit that guides you through the various flora and fauna of Golden Gate Park.
That is brilliant.
I
And you do it like that? You deliver it
I
similar?
deliver it just like the Isaac guy. That's kind of what I do. I don't
That's
know
what
how
you
to
do.
do anything else. I was born like 60 years too late. I'm an old man.
Old time.
Oh man,
So-
it's good.
It is. It's good. And Ed maybe realized that. And yeah, that was the first time Ed and I worked together. Although I do remember, meeting them at our shows over the last decade or more. And Danielle made my wife basically a replica of herself, a felt doll of her likeness, which we still have.
That is awesome. Danielle shared that story earlier. She was very excited to reveal how awesome your wife is.
She's good. My wife is a good one. She's a real cat. She herself is a formidable musician. And, we team up on a number of things, including making babies. Yeah! That's the worst.
Oh, fucking hell.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yes, Carla, she will reign over.
She
music.
plays violin on more than a couple Super Meat Boy tracks. Very quickly. She fiddles. She's a fiddler.
And she also is like the ghostly title theme music in Isaac. That female voice that you hear on the title screen is her.
She's also Isaac's
Oh.
And she's
wow.
Isaac's mom in the game. And my daughter is Isaac.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, but I didn't know that there was a bossy family voice-over thing for Isaac. That's amazing.
Just go ahead and call it a dynasty, man.
I will.
Actually, Carla, long before we were even together, did voiceover. She's got a very sultry voice. She was doing like car commercials and stuff for the Bay Area. Really funny.
You start somewhere.
God, you gotta start somewhere. You do.
Hey,
You
I
do.
have a quick thing I want to mention. Tyrone actually wants in on the call.
Oh, get him in, man.
Yeah, I just got a contact from Tyrone. Throw him in the call and see what happens.
Live from the orange stand at the side of the freeway.
Let's see if he picks up. It was he added me 15 minutes ago. As you can tell, I'm pretty bad at checking my messages while I'm interviewing someone.
Is his name Optimus Convoy?
Yeah, right now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a super crazy name.
He's a crazy guy.
Oh God, this is wonderful. There's just so much fun in one call.
There's so much fun in one room right now, and it's mine. You should see what I'm doing. God, it's pretty amazing.
Can you describe it very slowly?
Yes, I can. Well, here
Okay.
I am in my NASA issue slippers, sitting on a futon, which I should have gotten rid of when I was 19. I'm surrounded by pillows, and it's quite dark. And I've got a choose-your-own-adventure book propped open on my lap, and I've got a bloody nose. That's what's going on in my life right now.
I think Tyrone says to hang up and call him again if you can.
I will try.
But if you hang up on us, Vinesauce, I am going to be fucking pissed.
Don't worry, Matthias.
Okay.
You're safe. You're safe with me. Hello, Tyrone.
Hello, I can pick order for you today.
Today?
Racist.
This guy already is so racist. God.
Matthias comes in, everyone's smooth, cool, like a Marlboro cigarette.
That's right.
Like they would advertise in the 50s. And Tyrone, what's up with you, man? How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Doing great. Thank you for wanting to join us. That was a great intro.
Sure. Had to keep it. I had to keep hope alive right there. I can't top Matthias's voice, so I can do the most racist accent I can come up with.
Fair enough. Well,
It's really embarrassing. I can't do Hispanic accent. My mom switches her J's and Y's like the typical cliched Hispanic mom, but I can't do it. I've worked hard to be this pale and white.
Oh man,
Nice.
God love you, Tyrone.
I love you too, Matthias.
Oh.
Well, this is a fantastic. This is a great opportunity for me, and it turns out we're all out of time. Thank you guys for no. We've got some time, and I want to let you guys know that I've had questions from the community here, and I'm going to just ask, and at one point, whoever wants to chime in, go for it. Ed, most of these are for you because obviously I thought you were the only person I was going to talk to today. Now, before I go into those, now that we have another fellow in the call, Tyrone, pleasure to meet you. What did you do on the team? You were the lead? What was it?
I don't do a whole lot. I just take most of the credit.
You just take the credit, okay.
Right, Ed?
Yeah.
No, I'm one of the founders of Nicholas, and I work with the team who works with Ed. Ed and I sort of double teamed the marketing and PR, and then I would be the sort of guy at the events doing all the demoing. But then I'd work with the programmers and the artists to sort of make sure that we were doing what Ed wanted. And then on the other end, I'd work with my brother who makes sure that we were all finishing everything on time so that it would actually release on November 4th.
Right. Now, who was the main liaison between, I like that word, between you guys at Nicholas and Ed? Who was the dude that relayed most of the information?
I think initially, just to keep it easy for Ed and keep it easy for the team for probably the first easily 6 months, it was just me and Ed going back and forth and then getting all the information to the team. And then, hold on one second.
Sure.
Tyrone's also watching Fast and Loud right now, and they're getting this 55 caddy ready. They paid $25,000 for it.
It's my 3-year-old clone brushing his teeth before eating all candy. But it was initially me, and then what we did is the lead artist, Matt Kapp, and then the lead programmer, Simon Parzer, we would all sort of tag team Ed every day.
It was great.
Well, there's the stinger for the whole interview.
Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Live chat is over.
I run through the house and I make a whistle. Just like a jug, like a whoo.
Oh, that kind of whistle.
Yeah. Whistle.
This is the best. Matthias is narrating the interview. So Tyrone, you worked on. Did you also work on 1001 Spikes?
I did. Yes.
Okay, that's a huge game that we streamed that a lot. There's a video someone made of me playing it called 1001 Unholy Noises, because every time I died in that game, somehow a duck noise or a demon noise or whatever came out. So I had fun with it. But my question to you is, what game did you find more challenging? I mean, I think I know the answer to this one, but what was more challenging to get finished, to get put together? How do you feel about that?
I think, I'm very, very close to both games, and obviously I'm not the original designer on either, but...
That's right, yeah.
I think with The Binding of Isaac, Rebirth, we had... whenever we work with another developer, another designer, my main goal is to make sure that somebody like Ed is happy, because if he's happy, the players are going to be happy, and if they're not happy, they can suck it because he's happy.
Right.
But with Rebirth, we had a big responsibility because it was already in the spotlight. Aside from media, it was in the spotlight from players already who had high expectations from it. With 1001 Spikes, what we were trying to do is take 1000 Spikes, which was this, I would consider somewhat like a really small game, and a really good idea, almost like going from Mega Man 1 to Mega Man 2, where you're taking this really good idea and you're expanding on it. And I think since 1001 Spikes, just by nature, since it was sort of done like almost covertly, that we're kind of building this game, and although we're telling people about it, and people didn't really experience it until 1001 Spikes, that was easier in the sense, whereas with Rebirth, we have to make sure we're doing everything that Ed wants to do to make sure that he's satisfied with how it turned out. And then we also have to make sure we have this forward-facing, public-facing image to make sure that the players know we're doing everything that we can to keep them happy and make sure that we're doing the best job possible. So honestly, I would say if it was in a vacuum, it's pretty even in a way. But given that there's so many people waiting and who wanted to play Rebirth, that was a tougher project. And I know Ed really did a good job for us initially when we said, we came out and we're like, hey, we're going to redo all the art. And like, oh, we hate Nicholas. You guys suck. You ruin everything. And Matthias would have been much better doing that. So you're going to have to redo that one, Matthias, for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Nicholas, we hate you. You suck. Everything you do, you ruin everything. That's what the fans were saying.
It's
I
like
wish I had a Matthias voice box just to whenever I spoke, his voice came out.
it's like the voice of an angel and gravel just together in one beautiful partridge family tree.
Jealous.
Now
it was definitely, I would say it was Rebirth, but ultimately with very much with Ed's help and with all the guys on the team, it turned out with, I'm very proud of it. I think there's and Ed could speak for this too, but on my end, there's very little that I could think that we would add that wouldn't, you can always make a game better. You can always make something a little bit better, but I think it's pretty close to as good as we can get without working on it forever.
For sure.
you need to release sometime, and there like Ed said last week, there's a time when you just got to cut it off and you got to say, listen, we could add a lot more, but we're going to stop here and we're just going to get this thing out. And playing it and having put, how many hours did I put into this? 14 for me, and that's a lot for me, and other people on the stream have put in way more than 14. But my 14 hours with it have been fantastic. And I was telling Ed earlier that the game just feels great, and you guys did a fantastic job. Matthias did a fantastic job with Ridiculon, with the music. And it comes together for a nice cohesive package, and it looks great too. The art style I prefer. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, I'll let the guys know.
So let me bring a few questions to you from the community. The first one is from Boo Boop Kachuk. God damn it.
Sorry.
Fuck that name. Can you say that name in like a cool voice, Matthias?
Yeah, the first question we have from the panel this evening is from Mr. Boo Boop Kachuk from Thailand.
I don't know if he's from there, but that works.
Yeah.
The question is, it's just a simple one, but I thought it was a nice one. What is the best glitch that you have seen in the development of Rebirth?
Oh, glitch.
Anything that popped up that maybe you kept in, or anything that maybe popped up that you were like, this is ridiculous?
I still don't know what it was, but but Tyrone sent it to me. He had some sort of item combination that turned you into it. I haven't seen somebody generate it and actually show a picture of it, because you see a lot of that. Like you go to Reddit and it's like, look at this item combination. I saw one recently where it's like this crazy. It looks like a piece of art. Like somebody drew this weird spiral graph thing with a bunch of lasers. There's like a million lasers firing in all directions, but it was in this tight spiral graph.
It looks like a
type
mandala.
thing. Yeah, like a mandala thing, which looked really awesome. But Tyrone found this thing that was like, it turned you into a giant, I think it was green fireball, where you just constantly were being blown all over the screen and just exploding, but you're immune to the explosions, so you didn't get killed. It was insane. That was probably one of my favorite ones, which maybe we could, in the expansion, do for a challenge run. It's cool. It's just the item combinations, and every single time. See, I was one of the first people to get these item combinations and discover them and see them and be like, oh my God, now we need to make a challenge with this just so people can guarantee that they're going to see this. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. Like the Waka Waka challenge. Or the Pac-Man challenge is the strange attractor with with the zero gravity stuff, which made it so you could like go around the room and enemies would follow you like they were Pac-Man going in Pac pellets. Like you just walk backwards and they just follow each of your little things. I just thought that was awesome too. But glitch-wise, the only one that pops up that we fixed was just this thing that gave you an infinite number of spiders. You could fill the whole room with spiders, which had to do with chocolate milk and Mom's wig. But I can't think of any. I mean, Tyrone, do you remember any cool glitches that we fixed?
There were a few that you'd say like, whoa, I did this. And unfortunately, they were really funny at the time in development, but then we just passed through it. But obviously, like I mentioned it last time, but one of the items when Ed said, okay, let's make chocolate milk, which is an item. And when we first implemented it, it was broken. So I kind of got fond of it right away, and then I said, hey Ed, how about we turn this into the bad version of the item you want to do, and it became soy milk.
Soy milk really ruined a few of my runs. Just want to point that out there.
Soy milk is amazing if you have high luck in any kind of stat affecting tier effects, because luck actually affects a lot of stuff this time. So if you have high luck and like poison tiers or charm tiers or anything like that, and you have soy milk, you're almost guaranteed to constantly do status effects on enemies, which is
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Which is why it came in. It wasn't just a pure fuck you move, but it was just like, I mean, if you put an explosive effect on it, you've got like the most powerful weapon ever.
Yeah, Ipecac plus soy milk is my second favorite combination in the game, aside from the one that Ed mentioned in passing that I'm not going to divulge as a combo.
Fair enough. I have another question. This is for all three, or all four, actually. Let's get Danielle in this too. Are there any from Cosmic 9000? Cosmic 9000, what a name! And he's got a picture of a clown as his avatar. It's two things could not be further from each other. Are there any game developers or artists that inspired you? Originally it was game development, but let's take it to a broader stroke, and let's just, one by one, let's talk about our inspirations, I suppose. Why don't we start with Matthias?
Sure. Musically speaking, there's little music that I don't like. Regarding the music that people are now starting to hear coming from Ridiculon, I like to draw inspiration from the bands that I've been in over the last 10 years, purveyors of metal, the people who founded them, and I was lucky enough to come on board later when things were already moving, like Skeleton Key and Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum, total metal juggernauts. But I also, I do like the sad, tinkly piano music of Eric Satie, and I hope that a couple of the tracks are at least a bastardized sort of hat tip to some of his more beautiful solo piano pieces, maybe. I like all music. That's a horrible question for me. I like all music, and I know nothing about music, so I'm just totally ill-equipped to answer that.
So you're inspired by music itself in some ways, as Hallmark family as that is. It's kind of true.
Yeah, it is.
Just whatever you hear.
I am a Hallmark kind of guy. I'm also kind of, what's the women's channel? Lifetime?
Oprah.
I think so.
Or Oprah, yeah.
Borpo.
Yeah, just quiz me. Why don't you guys quiz me right now? And I'll tell you if I like it or if I don't. Go ahead. Name any band. Do it.
Vanilla Ice.
Love Vanilla Ice. That was a good one. Go ahead. Another.
Pink Floyd.
Love Pink Floyd. Another one.
MC Hammer.
I love MC.
Yoko Ono solo.
I love Yoko Ono solo. Another one. You guys can't stump me yet.
Yoko Ono bottom.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's perverse.
Matthias Bossi.
No. Nope.
Oh, wow.
The one thing I hate myself. That motivates me
That's where the art comes from.
to love others.
Jeez.
My self-hatred.
Wow.
Anyway, if you guys think of any other bands, Nickelback, Cannibal Holocaust, Justin Bieber.
Anal cunt.
Love them. Yeah.
Right?
Four.
Yep. Nicki Minaj. Oingo Boingo. I'm just reading off the scroll on the feed here. I'm just reading.
Okay.
Writing.
Oh, be careful with that chat. My lord. George Costanza, someone wrote. That's not a musical act.
George Costanza is a musical style. I wish they would get it right. I wish I could write in the style of George Costanza. Anyway,
Well, thank you, Matthias.
how about the band Passenger of Shit?
Okay, that was a little nugget.
That was good. Whoever just wrote that, that's really funny.
Which site are you on, Matthias? Are you on Vinesauce.com or are you on the Twitch? Twitch.com.
I'm on the Twitch feed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Anyhow, you guys can, you can move on. I have no real answers about much of anything. I can
that's
merely
okay.
just comment on the proceedings.
That was great. Ed and Danielle. We'll start with Ed. Ed, I'm sure you got this 1,000 million times, but just for the record's sake, how do you feel about some of your influences? Any specifics? Gaming, music?
Yeah, I mean, the gaming ones is Miyamoto. The end.
Of course. Yeah.
I'll just stop there. Spelunky is a big one too.
Yeah.
Obviously, but
Huge Spelunky fan.
beyond that, I would say Lloyd Kaufman.
Oh, Shroma.
Yep, Lloyd Kaufman. That's a big one. Alejandro Jodorowsky.
The Holy Mountain.
El Topo.
El Topo,
is
yeah.
Personal fave.
Mm-hmm.
David Lynch.
Yep.
What? I see a dark road. Let's see. Musically, there are so many, man.
I know. Me too.
Anything that makes me feel something is great.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, Ninja Turtles, fucking Garbage Pail Kids, Sam Keith's work. All that stuff. What else? What did I grow up with? The really weird stuff, the stuff that I find most inspiring. A lot of people have a hard time separating the artist and the art, and I'm the kind of person who actually almost revels in that separation. And like one of the people that I find most influential, especially even with Isaac, is Jack Chick, who is just the horrible person in my view. I mean, he's a complete religious nut who hates lots of people, but I think that his work is very inspiring and very honest. And in the same way, I'd say Gigi Allen would be on that same level of, there's something there that's inspiring too, because he's taken it to the level, but I don't really respect anything that he's doing other than the fact that he's an artist and he's doing it, or a crazy person. Tonetta. Sure. Anybody who's just kind of putting it all out there and going no holds barred for sure. A lot of obscure stuff that nobody's probably heard of. There's a show called Fishmasters, which was like a local public access show. Is probably the most influential thing in my life when it came to just making me realize what being independent meant, what an independent artist could do, and the options that could possibly open for me if I continue on a path down, if I just follow kind of my dream. And it's hard to explain what that show is, but it was just a very late night public access type show that happened to make it onto a semi-mainstream channel at 1 a.m. on Saturdays, which I completely worshipped. And it was just awe-inspiring, mostly because I felt like it was something that I watched and thought that I could do if given the amount of time and effort they put in as well. That sort of stuff. Horror movies in general. I just like weird, dark stuff. And life.
It's a good one. Just a quick thing, there's an album that's been really doing it for me. It's called Screamadelica by a band called Primal Scream, Scottish band for early 90s. That's like right now, I can't stop listening to it. Do you ever get that, guys, where you just like an album just takes over your life for like a few weeks?
Absolutely. More than
Isn't
a
it
few
great?
weeks.
Sometimes it could be months.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a great feeling when you have that. It's like a companion with you.
Danielle's been listening to Teenage Dream by Katy Perry.
And then if I listen to it enough, Ed sings it.
Yep.
Well, Danielle, speaking of, I want to hear about some of your inspirations in life and in your craft, and how do you feel about what we've been discussing?
I'm just barely hanging on. My whole brain is restarting, so I basically feel like a total piece of shit, and I can't think of anything that I like. I have to start all over with new.
You like Katy Perry, though, that one song.
That's where she's starting.
Can we? Let's not. Now I feel more like a piece of shit.
DL's listening to a lot of good music.
Let me get back to you when I can think.
Sure.
Back to when I can think.
When
If you come,
everything I thought was wrong, see? So I don't really trust saying anything right now.
fair enough.
Call of Duty!
There it is.
Okay.
Starting fresh with Call of Duty.
Doritos.
That's right. That's my favorite song.
Yeah. Oh my. All right. Well, we'll come back to that. And
Now,
Dan,
guys, hold on. I
yeah.
need to interject on the Call of Duty front.
Yes.
For those who have obviously seen the second season of House of Cards, where Frank Underwood's video game obsession is given more light, do the developers of Call of Duty, Kevin Spacey is in the new one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there a link there? This is what I want to know. Did they see the Frank Underwood character and know his obsession with video games and pornography and put him in this game? I don't know.
I'm so lost.
Some people have mentioned that there's the character in Call of Duty, the Kevin Spacey character, is extremely similar, almost a carbon copy.
Yeah. I do not play this game for the. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in that story in single player. I just shoot people with Danielle on the onlines.
Yeah. We're having sex instead of playing via story mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do the story. Oh, well, I have kind of stopped playing those games. So, but I did multiplayer for a long time. I've got a lot of hours in Call of Duty multiplayer. I stopped a few years ago though, and now I'm just like, please God, do something different with this franchise. But at least the multiplayer is still fun for people to sit on a couch and shoot some people together.
Yeah. I play story mode in the bedroom.
Oh, what's up, Danielle? How about tonight? I'm Mike Brady.
And it's a pop-up book.
Oh shit!
What that mean?
It's a story. Hey, Tyrone, why don't we discuss real quick before I go on to the next few quick questions? I'm gonna be ending this very shortly, but Tyrone, any influences in game development or in life?
Yes, but before we get to that, I need to interject too now. Matthias, we need you to make a romantic ballad called Call of Duty. It's a military romance ballad. So we're going to make that happen.
I'm totally down. I can do it.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. So we're going to make this happen, and it's happening here. So, and on to my inspirations. There's somebody who probably very few people know. He's Shoji Kawamori, and that guy's pretty important to me because he made the original Robotech Veritech, which is like... there's probably a lot of kids who don't know Robotech, but it's just like robots that turn into planes, and it's pretty awesome. And they're not Transformers.
Okay.
But the top of my list is probably Osamu Tezuka, which people know for Atom or Astro Boy in the US. And he also made a bunch of other stuff like Blackjack and Kimba, which ended up getting ripped off by Disney to make Simba. I like old Miyazaki, as in not the old guy Miyazaki, but I like old Miyazaki before he went crazy on his... all his films now are very like heavily politically influenced, and he tries to sort of send this message that...
So you're more of like a Kiki and a Ponyo sort of guy.
Well, more even further back, like Nausicaa and La Puta and the
Porco Rosso.
Yes, that's some good shit right there. That's what we're talking.
Yeah, baby.
And the last guy is Avon Earl, which is he was one of the guys that did all those beautiful backgrounds on Sleeping Beauty, the old Disney movie, and they were just... I remember seeing this art years ago, and I just never forgot the look of of how he was able to paint these, and it was such a unique and different take on doing backgrounds for its time. If you look back at Sleeping Beauty and what other animation studios were doing for its time, during that time.
There was a really Disney stuff was fat. There's a documentary on how they did it with the machines and how they did the backgrounds. Did you ever see that, Tyrone?
No. Now I want to go.
I will link you to it. You're gonna love it. I'll when I find it, I'll send you a link. It's really fascinating about some of the early animation from like the 40s, 50s of Disney. It's a beautiful, beautiful little documentary. It's short.
Is Mary Blair featured in that?
I don't know. What's that?
Oh, she was like the first female artist to hop into Disney and like.
I don't think she was. Actually, no, that was more when Disney kind of became...
Typical.
Hey.
Typical. Just typical.
Just typical. I want to ask you guys a quick thing. This could be for everyone. Ed, I mentioned this before we started chatting. I think someone messaged me that you had the quote of... I don't want to quote you, but let's just say this. People getting offended could ruin art.
Yeah.
Right. So without getting too deep into specifics, why do we think that is? Because I agree with that. Like, I think everyone gets offended on a large enough scale, and it's a matter of do you open the channels to listen to it?
People put way too much weight on what being offended is, and being offended isn't a big deal. It's something that happens to everyone constantly because everybody's different and has different views. Like the fact that we just live in a civilization that has multiple religions, of course, you're going to be offended by people who are saying that what you believe is wrong and what they believe is right, and that goes everywhere. So, I mean, I don't understand. People say they're offended by something, and I don't understand what weight that holds in any form, because I'm offended by that.
And it's always stupid people that are offended.
I don't know. I don't understand that. But when it comes to art, though, challenging people with art is important. I mean, I think that's kind of like what it is, and I think that just putting yourself out on a personal level and just exposing yourself and your views and everything else is just kind of going to rub somebody the wrong way. It's bound to do something provocative. I don't know. It's art seems boring to me unless it's doing something provocative. You gotta find the boundaries. You got to keep pushing out and exploring uncharted territory, or you're not making much progress. And the only way to do that is to kind of venture out into the danger zone a little bit and come back. And in doing so, you're going to step on some people's toes. But I think people just need to learn that that's the way life works. Like you just deal with things bothering you. Mm-hmm. If I gave up every time I was offended by something, I'd be fucked.
Yeah, we all would. And you can't change the channel in real life. Sorry, Danielle, go ahead.
Oh, it's hard to not take things personally. He has gotten really good at it, and I have gotten worse at it.
I'm a vampire of not taking things
He
personally.
does not give a shit.
It's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, I'm working on giving less fucks. And it's tough because I actually, I think I said something was retarded like 2 years ago in a stream.
Oh, that was on.
I know, I said that word. In the context of,
you don't say that. What you say are tarded. That's
right.
Yeah, that's to differentiate artarded from arped. You don't say arped, you don't say retarded. Those are offensive words. You don't say them.
Can't do it.
There is never a time or place to say either of these words.
I did it 2 years ago, and it was in a stream that was on YouTube. It was an old stream from 2 years ago, and someone wrote me an email recently saying, I am very offended that you said the word retarded 2 years ago. And I was just like,
You've been offended for 2 years?
No, I think they just found out about it, and they were like, you know what? Fuck 2 years ago, Vinny. But I don't, there are some things I just don't want to deal with, so I just don't go there. I could say ridiculous instead of that, It's Ridiculon. Why would you use one word when you've got a great English language. I just call people cunts now. No one gets offended by the word cunt.
No, that's a term of endearment in the UK.
That's right, mate. You fucking cunt bastard. You know, you say that, everyone's fucking happy. They're having a pint.
Yep.
I don't even know what that voice was.
That was good. That was more Scottish, actually.
It's a little Scottish.
Vinny, good work.
Thank you.
You have a future.
Thank you.
Shut up. A while ago, we were talking about this, of course, because it comes up a lot. And I almost lost my train of thought because I said shut up.
Was that Scottish accent? I'm still trying to remember what he said.
It's gonna come back to me. I will interrupt as soon as I remember.
Please do.
I remember.
Okay.
We were talking about how, like, even just like language, even the word discriminate, which used to mean like discern between two things, is a negative word. Don't say discriminate. But that actually used to mean something, but now we can't even say that because that you're probably talking about black people.
You can't. Yeah, well, it's weird how the euphemisms have replaced some of these words, and some of the words have taken on completely different meanings.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't, discriminate. Like, well, I'm discriminating between this shop and this shop because this shop's hats suck and the other ones are good. Now it's discrimination suit. You think racism immediately.
Yeah.
Why did this happen? Why is everyone so, you can't handle things. I guess words are really that hard to hear.
Words are difficult.
I don't know. I just have to deal with it too. I'm live every night. I got to be careful. Sometimes a word wants to slip out and I'm like, not that one. Say cunt instead.
Ed almost got me to say retard last week. I almost said the word retard.
What's your email address? You're going to get a bunch of hate mail for this.
It's
No, don't do it.
whitehouse@whitehouse.gov.
Okay.
Yeah.
Almost as good as I don't give a fuck at fuckyou.org. It's always .org.
The best one is you're@mom.com.
See what you did. All right, let's get back on track. We're getting. Thank you for the insight, everyone. That's good. It's a nice topic to discuss while we're so far deep into the dungeons of Isaac's mind.
It's all artarded. All that stuff, being offended is artarded.
I agree.
And if you're
now,
offended, go get arped by an artard. Thank you.
I love it. Okay, listen, we're going to wind this down. Quick question from Sakoto. I got two more questions for you guys. Sakoto just wants to know, so you guys put a lot of secrets in Isaac and a lot of, codes, a lot of seeds. And I remember there was a thing about how you don't want people to spoil them. So my question to you guys is, there's a lot of stuff that still hasn't been discovered yet?
People already fucking fucked it up. They all
messed it. They swallowed a $100 steak with one bite.
Yep.
Don't say spoil.
My dad was spoiled. He died. Tyrone's analogy is the right analogy. It is true.
They're crackheads.
They couldn't resist it. They had to break it apart. And even though people were fucking actively working on some of the biggest secrets that would have taken a while to unfold, they said, no! I want it all now! And then they arped it.
And then they spoiled it for the rest of us.
Yeah. I mean, everybody out there has, the ability to not look.
Oh, I'm certainly not. And no one has spoiled it for me. I don't know, I'm going to discover everything on my own. But
it's disheartening. Like, it sucks because it's like, well, we're going to start working on an expansion soon, but we sure as hell aren't going to fucking take all the time that it took, especially with Simon, who tried his best to, like, really bury this stuff so it would deter people from doing this. But all they see is a challenge, so they're just going to dive right in and do it either way. But I can say right now that I don't think the expansion is going to feature any buried secrets that that anybody will care about. I mean, it
was months of our life trying to have between Ed and me and Simon, like, hey, Ed had this really crazy idea. It was awesome. And then Simon and I were like, let's do it. This is awesome. It'll take, some people won't find this for years. Nope. 1 week.
Oh, no.
So actually the expansion consists now of just a film of me scolding the entire planet.
Yes.
That's
it.
A
very stern voice.
Very stern, super boring, no music. Just a single shot. I have a super crappy suit on, and I'm just scolding all these kids, all these teenagers who are just crushing the dreams.
Are you shaking the finger, or are you just saying shame?
No, just shame. And it zooms in on my mouth. It zooms in on my mouth, and it's slow-mo. It's like, shame. Shame. Yeah, it's
gamers
gross.
and their bullshit.
Nobody likes to wait anymore. They want to eat it now.
Yep.
Yeah, I could go into a diatribe about why that's, why our current everything is kind of fucked up. It's like, gimme, gimme, gimme. I'm not wrong. Everyone else is wrong. Gimme, gimme, gimme. But hey, that's okay.
Well, if anything,
right.
what I've learned...
I'm going to challenge the data miners for the expansion, because I have something that I haven't even told Ed that will guarantee that they won't be able to mine shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby.
It'll take at least 3 days this time.
One thing I have learned when it comes to this sort of stuff, too, because I buried some stuff in Old Isaac that I thought wouldn't be uncovered, and it wasn't. It was legitimately uncovered, but faster than I thought it would, and I thought I would go even further, and I thought I went really far with this one, but I think I've learned that there's no point in really doing that stuff, and the best way to hide a secret is to just put it locked in a very challenging area. So I think if we end up doing anything like that for the expansion, that it'll be behind a barrier of entry that means having a certain skill level, and not something that I thought was really fun in a community-based kind of ARG situation, which would have been nice if it was allowed to take place. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, people have the ability to use discipline and avoid the internet for these. And I think there's still hope, because a month from now, when sort of the, not hype, but when this massive data miner train kind of just comes to a stop and people are just like, okay, we're done. A month from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now, we might start getting people like, whoa, I just discovered this whole new thing. I didn't know what was happening. So we might see sort of a renaissance with people who actually just kind of missed the launch of it and are starting to find these new things. And hopefully they don't get too curious and go and ruin it on a wiki or something.
I promise you that a good chunk of us do not know anything about this. I don't even know what you guys are talking about, and I'm a streamer, so no one's brought it to me.
Isaac, we put porn. Found it.
4 gigs of porn.
Yeah, lemonpart.org. Don't go there.
Okay, but it really, I don't think it's gonna detract. There are plenty of people that are going to enjoy the secret when they find it, and I don't even know what it is. So I hope to find it on my own. It's slightly discouraging, though, I agree. Now, listen, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me. I really can't, I was looking through the community questions. We've covered almost everything, and there's not really a whole lot more I could ask that's going to
Call of Duty, make me feel so on fire.
On
Call
fire.
of Duty. I'm working on it.
Where's my
Tyrone
bass?
is commissioning me to write a ballad about Call of Duty, and I need the hook. So if anyone has suggestions out there, please, find me somehow on the Twitter machine, and I'll do my best to make it the hit of the winter.
The feel-good hit.
It's going to be on iTunes. It's going to be on iTunes.
It is. Call of Duty.
I want there to be a music video of Ed in the Meat Boy shirt.
Ed, you know what, Vinny? In all seriousness,
Yeah.
Ed is a very good singer. He won't get out very much, but if you come to him, he's going to shred some classic rock in your presence and make you sit down. I swear to God, man.
Really?
Some people on our stream have heard him, like he would do karaoke in the background while he's playing Isaac. He does have an amazing voice, and he can sound like almost anybody.
Dude, he can sound like the Hetfield if he wants to.
Really?
He's got the leading man vocals. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, dude. He's gonna have his own band soon called Passenger of Shit.
Ed, if you're ever in New York and you want to start a band, you know where to find me. Just saying, do you do the David Byrne of the Talking Heads by chance?
No.
That's a crooner, man.
The way he sings is kind of like monotone, so it's.
He can't seem to face up to the facts.
Oh, nice. That was really good, Vinny.
Well, that's more David Byrne's speaking voice. But yeah, no, I also like to do those things too, Ed. So we have that in common. That's cool. Do you do any just this is a good question to end with. What other classic rock guys do you like to sing?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna interrupt right now. For my one birthday, he recorded "Darlin'" by Beach Boys, but he did all of the parts.
Oh wow.
Mama like.
Mama. Yeah.
Now Ed does a really good Cream. I mean, listen, pick the songbook, man. He's gonna shred that shit. I'm telling you.
No,
You remember that story about when they replaced the singer from Journey with the Polynesian guy?
That's right.
That's gonna be Ed really soon.
And you're Polynesian?
Yep.
Ed
Tyrone.
is raw.
Ed is Polynesian. Yep.
All right. I could just talk to you guys all night. I really could.
Hey,
And
Vinny, are you in New York?
I am.
Yeah, man, I'm on the East Coast too. These guys are up not late, but we are.
We are. Well, for me, I'm up really late. It's 12:30 a.m. for you and I, Matthias. And this is, I don't want to keep people up too much longer. You know, they usually watch me until like 3 a.m. It's ridiculous. My sleep schedule is awful. But, you know, other people, you guys have been here, Ed and Danielle, you've been with me for 2.5 hours tonight.
Yeah, we only have about 3 friends in real life, so I'm good.
Okay.
We do have 3 friends. That's true.
I think, no, I have like one hand of friends that I could, well, it is the one hand, but really though, you guys are just fantastic, and getting everyone together like this is amazing. How about this? Why don't we do a little thing just to extend the time a little bit, and that way we can end appropriately. All right? I'm going to do an exercise.
All right.
We have a lot of people here. Why don't each of you think of a question for someone else in the call?
Very good.
Just right, and then you ask your question. The other person answers it, and we move around, and then we say goodnight, and everyone goes to bed happy.
I like that. That's real nice.
Bed happy.
I got a question for Tyrone.
Uh-oh.
At what point, and I'm sure it's happened, did you ever refer to me as a diva in development?
When did I first meet you? I seriously don't remember. I actually think that the development of Rebirth was exactly what I was willing to sign up for. So I think it was what I wanted to make too. It's your game, it's your design, but I really wanted to be along for the ride, and the entire team wanted to do it. So I don't think there was ever a point. I think there was never a point where we said, "Fuck, this sucks. We want to stop working on this." It was, yeah, this is pretty great. This is it's getting better and better, and the game only got better. I think if we deleted the last 6 months of the development of it, it wouldn't be the game it became.
Well,
So
I'm going to push it even further for expansion. Get ready.
oh man, my butthole's gonna hurt.
Ow! Expansion.
Oh, God.
All right, so do I ask the next question?
Then you ask the next question. I ask the next question. Go for it.
All right, I'm going to ask Matthias. Can you educate us on chord progression?
Oh, certainly. I am completely irreverent when it comes to chord progressions. I mean, there are people who have made a life out of 3 chords, and I've learned from my wife that you start and you keep on going until someone tells you should stop, and that's the end of the song. And it's a never-ending cycle and sea of chord changes that definitely hang together, but aren't necessarily written like Katy Perry would. So, I mean, you want to talk about chords, talk to Katy Perry or even Russell Brand. That guy knows chords.
How about John Williams?
You know what? I like John Williams. Now, regarding film soundtracks, he's one of the last guys who's held on to melody. You know, I think it's a very important thing. I'd say he and Danny Elfman, Marco Beltrami, my buddy Mark Orton. There's some guys who, who are holding on to melody, which is very important in a film score. And I might add a video game score. Although Isaac certainly wouldn't be a shining example of that because we're just slapping people around with giant walls of detuned guitars. But fuck them. Tyrone, I have a question for you.
When does he get paid?
No, have you seen have you seen Big Hero 6 yet?
No, should I watch Big Hero 6 yet?
It's really a sweet film. I took my daughter to see it yesterday. I loved it.
That's the one with the balloon robot, right?
It is.
I need to watch because it looks like very Japanese inspired, and my kids are Oriental. They're half Oriental.
Oh,
Racist.
Racist. George Fan, creator of Plants vs. Zombies, is that.
he's also Oriental.
He's half Oriental or Oriental?
He's full Oriental.
Does anybody have a gong? I need a gong.
I don't. Not like a comedy gong, no.
Oh.
No, Tyrone, in regards to gongs, is super, super reverent about it. He's half Asian, so when he hits a gong, it's serious.
Yeah, I'm also black from the waist down. That's why my name is Tyrone.
Yeah, he set himself on fire when he was a child. He's black from the waist down.
I'm done. I can't top that one. So here, have a kazoo.
That's the sound of Edmund and Danielle having sex.
It is.
I gave these out at Comic-Con. We have our own Vinesauce proprietary kazoos.
Tight.
And we had the brown note rising very slowly, and everyone was shitting their pants at Comic-Con because I gave out so many kazoos.
Man, well, I appreciate. I'm gonna go to bed because I have a 10-month-old baby that's probably gonna wake up in like 4 hours.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's start the ending process.
Okay.
All right. So Matthias, thank you for joining us tonight. It was really great to speak to you and learn about your process a bit. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, maybe someday I'll actually be able to speak eloquently on that front, but maybe not this lifetime. I'll be able to speak from beyond the grave about all the nonsense I've strung together in my short time on this planet. But listen, thank you for letting me infiltrate this conversation. I know it was spontaneous and not planned, but I saw that Ed was jumping on, and I decided to. How many contact requests did I send you in 4 minutes? I think it was like
7 or 8.
Yeah, that's good. I tried to do more, but I tried to let you know how serious I was about gaining your trust, Vinny.
Well, you have my trust, and
Okay.
I hope one day to gain yours.
Okay, well, that's true. We got to meet face to face again in a
right.
more private setting, not in front of so many people, and then we actually have to fight.
Well, I'll see you in Boston again if you'll be there at PAX.
I
PAX
will
East.
never go to that fucking place again. Oh my God, no
Oh God,
way.
Really?
I'm
It was that bad for
taking
you?
a lesson from Ed McMillen. Do not leave the house. Do not go to PAX.
So awesome.
Overrated.
It not only is it loud, but it's filled with people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you need hand sanitizer for every moment.
I know. You know, some
Tommy
people
had
would
it.
say, well, Tommy's crazy. Hand sanitizer is really bad for you. You know, you got to get those germs on there, guys. Kids, people living on farms, they have really strong immune systems because of all the manure and all of the germs they're touching all day. It's where big muscles come from. You want to get strong, you want to get fearsome, touch some cow shit, you know?
You've heard it here first, kids. So,
Anyways,
advice from Matthias.
Anyways, Tyrone, Ed, Danielle, Vinny, great to be speaking with you. I don't even know how to hang up a Skype call with 5 people, so I think I'm just gonna walk out of the room and hope when I come back.
Down on your computer for 10 seconds.
Hold the what? Hold a golf club on my computer for 10 seconds?
When you're ready, I'll click the hang up button.
Okay.
So.
Hey, I'll speak to you all very soon. Congratulations on a fantastic game. I'm really thrilled that it's out in the world, and yeah, we're all passengers on this giant shit together.
I think you said shit and not ship.
I did say shit. Passenger of shit. That's the band, man.
I love it.
Okay.
Good night, Matthias.
Good
Take
night,
care.
everyone.
Night,
Thanks
Matthias.
again.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye. Okay. Well, what has started with Ed and Danielle will end with Ed and Danielle. So Tyrone, you have any final words for tonight?
No, thanks for letting me crash your party as well, and for keeping you up. I think we're probably gonna, Ed and I will send you a couple of codes for Rebirth Steam that you can give out at the end of the week, so somebody can have a good weekend. So
I would love that. My community would love that too. Thank you.
Yep. So you'll get those over Skype. Just make sure nobody hacks your Skype account, and I'll send you some codes for Steam.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right.
It's great. You guys did a fantastic job with the game, and I want you to know, me and KY, one of our other streamers, we're going to be doing 1001 Spikes race soon, where we're going to be.
Do that. I'd love to watch.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely send you a quick message about it.
Awesome. Good night.
All
everyone.
right. Good night, Tyrone.
Bye, Danielle.
Best wishes. All right. Ed and Danielle, listen, you guys are just always a pleasure. And I don't think I've done in the past 2 years a number of interviews that were fun, but not quite as fun as this. And I love talking to you guys and catching up with you. And the game is fantastic. And, as always, you guys can always have a chat here if you want to promote something or if you want to just kind of talk about something.
Sounds good.
So-
Yeah, maybe I'll work on something that's not already something else that I've done.
And the sense of humor is just, that's what you need, and it's brilliant. So never lose that, Ed.
I'll try.
Try not to. But yeah, it's late, and you guys were great. So once again, thank you, Danielle. I hope everything gets a little bit less shit, and enjoy the Call of Duty.
Call of Duty
That said it all.
will take us out of this shit.
It's weird though, because there's not enough shit talking on PS4. It's like I'm used to like some hardcore shit talking.
That's true. That is true. Because we were playing on Xbox before, and now we're on PlayStation. And like, I think people just mute everybody, and like for the most part, you just don't hear anything. The craziest thing I heard was some guy with a little baby crying the whole time. It sounded like he was really young, and then talking about how hard it is to play a game when your kid's crying, and about how he has to wake up at 9 because he has to get up to drive to a rave on Saturday.
Jesus.
That's it. That's the most eventful. There wasn't a bunch of. I haven't heard the N-word once.
So you mean to tell me that there aren't a number of 10-year-old antichrists on PSN?
Dude, surprisingly not.
No one has said anything about me having a feminine name. No one has said anything about my voice before on 360 before. If I just said anything, I thought I sounded like a little boy, but I was not safe.
Oh my god.
Oh, are you on your period?
You touch your boobs?
And then like friend requests pop up.
I like that one. That one's my favorite. Touch your boobs. Those guys are the backbone of the gaming community. Those kids.
I'm kind
They're making a lot of executives rich.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, enjoy, and I hope you enjoy Smash 2 when it comes out.
Oh, for sure.
And once again, thank you. It was a pleasure. So you guys have a great night, and I wish you both a lot of happiness in the future.
Thank you. I hope it doesn't take another 2 years for me to release something that I can come on and talk about.
And thank you for having us, because this feels oddly familiar and good to do something that feels normal.
Oh, I'm happy. Well, I'm always here for that. And yeah, if you got something for me to talk about, I'll be here. I'll bug you, and I'm sure the people on Tumblr will bug you, even if you don't do that.
I'm not looking anymore.
Yeah, never mind. Fuck that. I'll bug you. All right.
Okay.
Good night, Ed. Good night, Danielle.
Night.
Bye. Wow, that was something. That was special. I didn't finish my run from before, so let's finish the run from before.